think since this is my first time connecting it, it'll probably go straight into the stream. Let's see. Yep, it did. Let me wait for it to pop up. In 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Welcome to this week's Tales from the Crypto with the big homie MoKnowz. What's up, Mo? How you feeling this week?
Oh, we're here, man. We're here. Big week. Actually forgot to even get my coffee, so I'll do that in a second. But yeah, man, a little low energy this week. I apologize, but got the surgery coming up on Thursday, so we are going to be recovering for quite some time.
Yeah, that sounds like a rough one. Hopefully you get through it all right. Shout out to the biggest bros in the chat. What's up, biggest bro? For some reason, as usual, chat's not working. I thought I had everything set up before we started the stream. No big deal, though. I cannot fix it all while we're sitting here. But yeah, we got some cool stuff to talk about. Big shout out to MoKnowz. He's the one who came up with pretty much all the topics this week. I've been sick the last couple of days, just getting over it right now. I think it's like the flu or something. And I just have not been paying too much attention to what's going on in the world the last week or so. But the paranormal topic for this week, as Mo suggested, was he wanted to talk about was hollow earth theory. So I did a little bit of research on it. Of course, I heard of hollow earth theory a couple times over the years. I didn't know much about it, so I did a little research on it before we talked about it. And I don't know, Mo, what's your thinking on the hollow earth theory? Why do you think this is something that people should really be worried about, concerned about? Maybe not even concerned about, but at least be aware of.
Well, I mean, this is something that honestly, I think this has probably already been debunked over time. This one for me was more of a fun idea.
Right.
Just because, again, if you kind of look at the premise of it, they're trying to say, like, both poles of the earth are open. There's chambers and layers where different types of life could exist. You know what I mean? And there's been movies and stuff, about it. To me, it's just a cool theory, to kind of explore it a little bit, maybe think about what Chapman might think. Because I think I will probably talk more about it maybe on Mo and Tell too, but bro, like, look at some of the shapes of these things that we see and that we hear about of, UFO origin or whatever. And then just go look at things in the sea and be like, huh, well, they kind of look similar. Like where things live down in the void of, light, right? Or, the way the pressure might affect the animals, the marine life that lives down there, right? Like you've seen some of the videos of these things, right?
Oh, yeah.
They're freaky looking, man. Like alien-like, you know what I mean? Where it's like, huh, and it makes you wonder. And if something like this did exist with the hollow earth, like what kind of different species could we have, and where could they have lived at different points in time, and I don't know. To me, I thought it was kind of cool. I didn't know if you really had anything this week, anyway. So
no, I didn't.
Figured I would toss it your way.
I thought it was really interesting when I looked it up. The fact that there's so much history behind it. There's a lot of people throughout history who have claimed to have found like holes into the middle of the earth. Some people have even said they went inside the holes to see what was in there. I think one of the people is the Bird guy, Admiral Byrd, who went to Alaska. Apparently, he found a hole into the center of the earth. And it really does show up in a lot of, okay, chat is finally working. It does show up in a lot of historical documents, so maybe there's something to it. I don't know. What do you guys think in the chat? Shout out to Stan the Man is here talking about mobile VeVe-verse is a win. I mean, why would you want to do that on your phone? It's so much work anyway. Shout out to Alejandro's here. What's up, Alejandro? Good to see you, my man. We got Denny OC. Ahoy, ahoy. First person whose chat actually worked, so I'm going to set up the feature chat so that I can click on chat and bring it up on screen. And then we'll be ready to go. We got some other topics to talk about sports-wise. We're going to be talking about this new bat, the torpedo bat. I don't know if you guys heard of it. I don't know if y'all are big into baseball or not. I'm a baseball card collector, but it's kind of a boring sport, man. I can't really sit there and watch baseball games anymore. However, it's pretty interesting what the Yankees are doing. There's this new bat. It's got a weird design to it. Kind of has like a bigger barrel, but also it's where you put your hands is like way lower on the bat because of how it's designed. I think they take that little knob off the bottom or something, and they're saying that it's legal. And the Yankees did it first for one particular batter. I don't know his name. I didn't look that far into it, but now I think the Mariners are thinking about doing it too, and several other teams are starting to pick these new torpedo bats up, and a lot of teams, of course, think that's cheating. It ain't fair, but of course they can do it too. So according to Major League Baseball, they are legal. They're defined by an untraditional barrel, which rests closer to the hitter's hands. Torpedo bats are designed with more wood Okay, and thus more mass concentrated in the area of the bat where
Pause.
the hitter is more likely to hit the ball. Each player touts a slightly different model with the bat's shape specifically custom to maximize potential damage on any given swing. I don't know. What do you think about it, Mo? You think these are fair?
Yeah, I think they're fair. As a matter of fact, I was talking to my homie about it. We used to play wiffle ball growing up, and like our whole thing was, where are you gonna make contact? We would take the electrical tape, we go buy different colors,
True.
and you start just going back and forth like almost like a lattice fence,
Yeah.
and we would create this torpedo-looking, bump on the bat. And yeah, dude, like, here's the thing though. So they're not necessarily new. They're getting, some notoriety right now because of the Yankees, but there has been teams using them or have them in the organization for years apparently. But I guess
Really?
if people weren't really doing any damage with them, the Yankees, however, went on some like historical explosion right over the weekend. But here's the thing too: Judge doesn't use it, and Judge is like supposedly the best guy in the Yankees, right?
Yeah, it only helps
He
like
blasted
particular people that have a certain type of swing.
that's what I understand too. But Judge, Judge put out 4 over the weekend. But yeah, I think it was Volpe. And Volpe, by the way, people be like, oh, Mo doesn't know shit about baseball. Told my girl, I'm like, yo, this Volpe kid, when he was playing in like the farms or coming up into spring training,
Yeah.
I saw this kid hit 1 ball, and I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? So I tuned into the game, and I'm watching him play the field. I'm like, yo, this kid's like the next legend. And everyone's like, yeah. Well, bro, now all of a sudden, now he's like the legend. This kid's insane, bro. This Volpe kid.
When was it? Do you remember what year you were
nasty.
saying that? Because I remember when his cards started coming out when he was in the minor leagues, people were like blowing up on this dude that nobody had ever heard of, and his cards started skyrocketing. It was like right
Yeah,
during the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah, well, no, for me, it was probably, 2 years ago, I think, when he came up into the Yankees for the first time. It was 2 years
People
ago.
had been saying that this guy was going to be a beast for a while.
Yeah. I don't follow baseball, though. So, like, I
Yeah.
just happen to,
I just
if
know
I'm
from his
watching
card
ESPN or
value.
something, or I flip through Twitter, and usually, like, the guy Los that I watch, him and his dad always tweeting the Yankee shit,
Oh, yeah.
And I just see him talking about this kid Volpe, and I'm like, well, who the fuck is this guy?
Alejandro
Like, I
says
like
it
watching
was-
Judge, but, when you
Alejandro
see
says
these
it
big
was
guys
Jazz from the
play, it's like,
Yankees, and News Now says it was Volpe. I think the article I read did say it was Jazz from the Yankees, actually. So, but I think Mo's saying it's Volpe too. Maybe they.
I
both
think it was
do.
a few of them though, because the guy that they hired some analytics guy, and he was the guy supposedly that brought it to their attention. So maybe they all got. I don't know who was the first guy to ever put his hands on the bat, but I do know that Volpe, and I think Jazz was also on that list of the guys I saw. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Mariners are getting ready to start doing it too. Let me turn my mic up a little bit.
I'm gonna grab my coffee real quick. Sorry,
No problem.
we
Take your
got thrown
time.
into the fire. That was my bad. Give me 1 minute.
Take your time. I'll catch up with the chat and get my mic to the right levels. It always wants to get quiet on me when I start the live stream. Baseball needs a boost. It definitely needs a boost. Maybe they need some new rules or something. I don't know what rules they could possibly use. I would say maybe bring the back fences in about 10, 20 feet. Let people hit more home runs. But would that even be fun to watch? Yeah, Anthony Volpe. You're probably both right. Alejandro says, I think the MLB needed something like this. It has become too boring. The steroid era was the most exciting era in baseball. Yeah, Sammy Sosa versus Mark McGwire. That's probably the last time anybody I know of cared about baseball. That was a huge race for the record for most home runs in a season. But, of course, both those dudes was on them roids. And then a couple years after that, Sammy Sosa got caught in the middle of a game. He hit the ball and his bat broke, and they saw that his bat was corked. He had a corked bat. It wasn't even one of those torpedo bats. So they always say in baseball, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. That's why I think Pete Rose and Barry Bonds, all of them should be in the Hall of Fame. They was all cheating back in the day anyway. So,
Thanks.
all right, we're gonna move on to our next topic. Unless there's anything else about sports you guys want to talk about, it is the NCAA tournament right now. I haven't been paying attention, like I said, to much recently. Let's see what the standings are looking like right now. Hopefully my team Duke. I'm predicting Duke's going to win it. I like Cooper Flag. Let me see if I can't pull this up and see how we're looking right now. You guys, did y'all fill out brackets? Oh, are we down to the Final Four? Is this last year's or something? Is it all the way down to the championship game? The Final Four, I mean?
No, or it can't be already.
Apparently, yeah.
Oh wait, no, it's March Madness. The fuck am I talking? It's April. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
And Duke
I'm-
is still in
I'm,
it. Final Four is all 1 seeds?
Yeah, I was gonna say because when I ran through AI to get my boy a bracket, he was like, "Oh, let's use his AI," And I'm like, you ain't gonna like it. It's shot back all the number one.
Dang, I didn't know I'd missed that many games. I don't hear many people talking about it. Maybe I just don't hang out with people that watch sports anymore. But yeah, apparently it's down to the final four. It's going to be Duke and Houston Duke and Houston in one side of the bracket, and then Auburn versus Florida on the other side. All one seeds, which is pretty weak. They always say one seeds never win the championship. Well, they're definitely going to win it this year because there's only 4 teams left, and they're all one seeds. I'm putting my money on Duke if I was betting on it, but with them all being one seeds, I think any of them could win it.
The last time I watched the tournament, a long time ago, I was working maintenance. And the only reason why I would even follow this shit is because my bosses and all them were like, if you were into the sports that they were watching or listening to, you could like stop working, you can go back to the shop, tune, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you weren't like in that group, you had to go back to work. So no matter what sport it was, fucking soccer, cricket, fucking baseball, I'm all over it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Basketball. Remember when, did you remember when Curry, we played for Davidson, right? Am I right?
Yep.
Yeah. Because again, it was just like some random ass fucking college team, right? And we're just like watching it, and I'm like, who the fuck is this dude? I'm like, wait, Curry?
That's
I'm
how
like,
you
is
know,
that-
like, most people don't know the college players, but when you see it's some random team and they're kicking butt and it's just one guy scoring all the points, you know that dude is a beast because he's taking this.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Yeah. And
But
Alejandro's
even Hardaway
asking-
wasn't like that. When Penny played for like Memphis,
Yeah.
like they were good.
That was
But
the
they
first
were- he
time
wa-
Memphis was good.
you know. Well, yeah, I'm just saying, but like he put them on the map a little bit.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like he didn't take over. Like I remember watching Curry, and I'm just like, this guy's just taking over.
Alejandro asked, do you think Cooper Flag is going to transition to a good NBA player? I got his highlights pulled up. We can watch it while we talk about it. I don't know how much you've watched of Cooper Flag, Mo, but this is like a highlight of him. I think he's going to be really good in the NBA because he's, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's like 6'10", 6'11", or 6'10", and he can shoot, and he can jump. But he did go to Duke. A lot of people criticize him for going to Duke. That's kind of like the easy way out whenever you're the top recruit. You're supposed to go to a smaller school and bring the smaller school up, and he chose to go to Duke. A lot of people thought that was kind of a cheap way out. I don't know. What do you think about Cooper Flag?
I mean, I've seen a little bit on him. He kind of, watching him pull up these some of these jumpers, looks like the dude on the Magic.
Paolo Banchero?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently that dude, that's another dude that's having a hell of an NBA season. Because I saw him, I think we might have even talked about him. Like, I haven't seen somebody stroke a ball like that. Probably since Jordan, honestly.
Dang.
And watching him shoot that ball is a fucking thing of beauty. And now I'm seeing him putting up some crazy numbers this season. I didn't know he won Rookie of the Year and shit that year either. Because again, I don't follow basketball. But it's just nice when I see some of these talents, man. It does transition. I think this kid could transition over. Looks good.
Good, but a lot of times people come into the NBA and they end up being big time busts. I remember Darko Milicic, who got picked over like Carmelo Anthony and like so many other great players. He was the number 2 pick of that draft. I thought he was gonna be good. He ended up being like a complete and total bust. There's many others like this. Shout out to Big A's in the chat. Good to see you, my man. Alejandro says reminds me of Christian Laettner. I mean, Christian Laettner is another one. He was a beast in college, but then when he got to the NBA, he was not much at all. So I don't know. We'll see.
I think he had a career, but yeah, it definitely wasn't what people thought it was going to be coming out of college. I remember that.
Shout out to Viper Actives in the chat. What's
He
up,
also
Viper
played for
Active?
the fucking Timberwolves, didn't he?
Yes.
That didn't help anybody.
I think he played some. Might have played for some other teams too. I mean, he had a 8 to 10 year career, but he was never a star, and I don't think he ever made. I could be wrong, but I don't think he ever made an All-Star team. All right, let's move on to
Now, real quick though, do you give more respect to a player, maybe like a guy like Laettner, who tries to stick it out, maybe in a bad city, or do you respect these guys that just play their initial rookie contract and just take the fucking paycheck to go? Because I respect the guys that kind of stick around sometimes, but I do understand both sides of it.
Yeah, I mean, if I put myself in their situation, I feel like I'm taking the contract. I don't know. It depends. Yeah, do you feel some type of some connection with that city? Is it a city you're not even from? And then maybe they're leaving the team that drafted them to go back to their hometown team. In that case, I kind of see that for sure.
That I would understand. Like, yeah, if you're like a hometown hero type deal.
Right.
But I mean, if you're already in your hometown and you get drafted there and you're like, oh, it was always my dream to play here, but things aren't working out, in the standings, like, do you just take that max? Because you can get more money staying at home, right? If you get this contract with the same team, they could pay you more money, right?
Right.
That's the way it goes in the NBA.
Yep.
But if you want to go to L.A., like what Shaq did, right? Shaq wanted to get the Hollywood stuff, and so he went from Orlando to L.A., right?
True. I think it kind
But
of depends on if you're a star or like a bench player or like a role player. Because if you're like a bench player, then I'm taking the higher money. Who cares if you're a star? You got to go to the team that has a better chance of winning the championship because you got to have championships to solidify your legacy. That you have to have the chips.
Facts. And there was that one guy. I forget his name. He won the championship with Toronto. Then he went somewhere else and won
Kawhi,
it.
Kawhi Leonard.
Was it Leonard? Might have been Leonard.
He did
Yeah,
win. Leonard won one with the Raptors, and then he went to the Spurs. I think he won with the Spurs too. I could be wrong.
Maybe it was Leonard. Yeah, it was some black dude. And I was just like, we're watching win that. And he went somewhere else, and they won it again. I was just like, see now, that kind of shows me that's a good player. You know what I mean? Like, if he can go in, step in, be a good role player, maybe take over when he has to. I don't know. I like seeing stories like that, but
Yeah, you're right. That's why
I don't know.
Tom
See,
Brady's
that
the
was a
GOAT.
kid from Duke.
The GOAT. That's why Tom Brady's the GOAT. He went to Tampa Bay Buccaneers and then just took them to the championship in 1 year. Wow.
Facts. And I'm always a Peyton Manning fan in that argument, but I will give it to Brady in that he did go there and
That was
took that
impressive.
team right to the Super Bowl, and they won it.
And he married a supermodel, so there's that too. All right, let's move on to our
And
next
divorced one.
topic, which is politics. There's plenty of stuff to talk about in politics. Anything y'all want to talk about in the chat? I know we got like news down marijuana here. I don't have Woody here to back me up, unfortunately, yet. Maybe he'll show up. Big A's here to back. He's usually on my side on these political rants that I go on. He saw me talking a little bit of trash to the Bones. I forget the exact name of that podcast, the one they do every day, because they were all about voting for Trump, and Trump's going to be great for the economy. And then, of course, as if you looked at the markets, you probably know economy not doing too great right now. And then the topic in particular that Mo brought up, I thought was definitely one worth talking about, and that is the recent comments that Trump made about running for a third term. And I've brought this up many times, and every time you bring up that Trump's going to run for a third term and he's not going to leave office, everybody always responds by saying he's just joking. So to quote Trump, his actual quote about it was, "I'm not joking." So you can't keep saying that he was joking, because he literally says, "I ain't joking." Shout out to Orange Bag
But
Ladies.
definitely not joking.
Good to see
Also,
you.
not the first president that tried to do it or even entertain the idea. But I mean, dude, to get that shit done, it ain't never happening. Like three-quarters of the states would have to vote it. I mean, it's not.
That's true. I
It's
haven't
not
seen
gonna
that.
happen.
But then again, he could just file some executive order that changes the law about it. I don't know, man. I'm a little bit
Nah,
worried.
not
He
with the
said-
Constitution like that. I mean, listen, he's got power, but not that. It's not that extreme. He can't do that.
So we
It
should
would take a serious ratification of the Constitution, and again, the states themselves. It has to be three-quarters from what I understand. But let's theorize a little bit, right?
Okay.
Let's say that doesn't happen, because it's probably not, right? What if we? Well, actually, let's say it does happen first.
Okay.
Now, let's say for whatever reason everyone gets along and it somehow passes, right? And we go, okay, now Trump's coming back. Could you imagine a 2028 election where the Democrats bring back Barack Obama?
Obama would smoke Trump.
Yeah, but just think about this.
Just
Maybe
saying.
that's why the Democrats would actually want it to some extent. They'd be like, well, wait a second. Because if that's the case, we could just bring Barack back and we could have a 2028 showdown with Obama versus Trump. That would be insane. You think the world that we live in right now is crazy? Bro.
That would be awesome. Actually. That'd be fun. But no, I think they're saying, according to Trump's team, that the idea that they came up with where he's allowed to run for a third term would not allow Obama to run for a third term, because it all comes down to running consecutive terms, since he was
I did
president for
read
4
that, yeah.
years and then he left for 4 years and then he came back for 4 years. They're not consecutive. So they're coming up with any way they can to get it to where Trump can run, but not Obama, because I think he knows Obama will probably wipe the floor with him.
That's true. And I think it was Roosevelt was the one that entertained it the first time around, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought
And the alternative idea behind it was, well, what if, and this could happen with Trump too, well, Vance runs as president, they put Trump as the vice president, and then Vance steps down.
that's what I heard too. But they're saying that in the Constitution it says if you're not eligible to be president, then you're not eligible to be vice president either. So I don't think that would work. And I'm looking up Franklin Roosevelt, FDR. He was president from 1933 to 1945. So that's like 12 years, so he must have had at least 3 terms.
Well, because he was vice president.
No, it says he had a 3rd presidential term.
Well, yeah, because didn't he take over? Am I wrong on this? My presidential history fucking blows. My American history is terrible.
There's two Roosevelts too, so that they get confusing. I mean, let me catch up with the chat. Shout out to everybody's in the chat. Thanks for hanging out with us. It's our Tuesday show, Tales from the Crypto. Alejandro says Kobe might have been the last player to stay with the same team his entire career. The last star player. I'm trying to think if there's any right now. So far, Anthony Edwards hasn't went anywhere yet. I think he's a big star. I think he's going to be a big star, but he's pretty young too, so he hasn't had a chance to go anywhere. It's not like Luka wanted to go. They traded him without his consent, basically. Viper Actor says, bought a new bat today. Tried to find one. Nothing local yet. Would have to buy on the internet. You can get some good deals on bats. I know a lot of people flip bats on eBay. They find them at yard sales and sell them for a big markup. All Yanks use is all the Yankees use it except for Judge. It's a legal bat. They have a max width. Seems like they have a big barrel to me. Where it is, where the barrel is what changed. What changes is the bat speed physics. Oh yeah, they're getting real scientific behind it. Bruin Idiot says, it's a joke. It can't happen. It's a joke. Bruin, he literally said, this is not a joke. You can't keep saying it's a joke if he said
it's a joke.
This is not a joke. Okay.
No, right. No, Mr. President.
It's just a joke.
You can't run again.
Oh, it's the people from MIT designing these bats. That makes sense. If I get my $5,000, he can stay for 4 terms. Nobody's getting $5,000 from Doge. All right, so I do have the Doge site pulled up. I think it's all just bullcrap. I think it's all cons. I don't think nothing that he's saving is actually real. So I started to go look through some of these, and I mean, the first thing you look through. And, I mean, all of these, none of them say exactly what they are. This is the Office of Refugee Resettlement. So, I mean, is it not a good thing to be helping refugees? I guess not. Okay, so this one is Centennial Technologies. And I looked this one up. It's $1.9 billion. And this is the IT department that runs the IRS. So the IRS is basically not going to run at all. And we're actually losing more revenue than what they claim to be saving, which I don't believe that number at all. But we're losing like over $100 billion in revenue because we're getting rid of all these IRS agents, and the exact people that they're no longer going after are the richest people who cheat on their taxes the most. And there's a lot of them saying now that they're not even going to do their taxes this year because the IRS isn't going to enforce anything. So, I mean, I guess
that's when they audit everybody.
they don't have the manpower to audit everybody.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't.
I think it's ridiculous. I think it's just all a big scam to let the rich people avoid paying taxes.
I mean, I hope that's not the case. But I know you said you watch Asmongold, Gold, right?
I used to, not so much anymore.
Yeah. We know you. So you used to work at the IRS, right?
I didn't know that.
So he was talking about this too, and he's like that. He's like the amount of money that my office alone would waste. You know what I mean? Like, listen, there's wasteful spending everywhere. Is it to a certain extent the extreme? Probably not. You know. But again, I think we should be able to clean up wasteful spending all over, you know? Shit, I just cleaned up wasteful spending in my own life today. I had 3 fucking credit cards that I don't even use, that I was paying like a $7 monthly fee on.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's not good.
Well, I was using it to build my credit back when I was trying to get the car and all my dental shit approved.
Right.
So I was like getting all these, you know, $500, $1,000 credit cards, but they come with a catch. And after the first year, you know, you pay fucking whatever, $95 annual fee.
Yep.
It was like every month I'm paying like fucking $7. Anyway, I'm just saying, like, wasteful spending. I just try to clean up a little bit, you know, and in the long run, I think it'll help. But yeah.
I mean, but who's to say it's wasteful? Are we saying all humanitarian aid is wasteful?
No, not the aid itself, but maybe where a lot of the money goes could be. And it's maybe not even wasteful by design, you know? It might not even be like people trying to be malicious, like malicious wasting, but it could just be like, oh, we missed that. Oh, that was an oversight. Oh, why is there money going? You know what I mean? Like stupid shit like that. Yeah, but I do believe, you know, if you're gonna audit the left, audit the right. Let everybody know everybody needs to be audited. You know. Oh yeah. Which again, we'll find out at the end of the day if this is trying to fucking, you know, pad the pockets of the rich. Well, the American people will just vote the other way.
Well, no, I
You
don't
know?
think it's like. I mean, okay, so I think the whole idea behind it is to save this money and then to pass $1 trillion tax cuts for the rich, and then to be like, hey, we saved all this money so we can afford these tax cuts. But that's because people suck at math and don't know that you're not really saving that much money here. Half the stuff that they're saying they're saving is contracts they've canceled that have already been fulfilled and paid for. So it's not actually cutting any money from the budget or anything like that. But they're using it all to back up these tax cuts that they plan on making. So really it's just it's a scam, it's a con in order for them to get more money, or to keep more money, not get more money, but to pay less taxes. They don't want to pay any taxes, and that's really what it's all about. It's the greed of the rich. They have plenty of money, they can afford to pay more taxes and still be filthy rich. And now we have billionaires running the country. They're going to be working for their billionaire friends, and they're just going to be killing off of our revenue, just like they're killing off the revenue from the IRS. And we need revenue to run this country. That's why they're getting rid of the Department of Education, and they're going to privatize all of school. Now we're going to end up paying more for school. So, I mean, they're going to be like, oh, we gave you this tax cut. You get a little tiny bit of the tax cut. The rich people get 90% of the benefits, and you feel like you saved money, but now you got to pay more for your school. You got to pay more for the hospitals now. You got to pay more for everything. So you're actually
Well, the schools
losing
themselves,
money.
there's only 10% of school funding. Even teachers and people that I know in the school, industry, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. But, some of the other stuff, and we're going to find out, I think, because what you're saying isn't wrong. Listen, if that's the end goal, and that's what we turn up with in 2 years, then yeah, guess what? America's going to be pissed, because that's not what they voted for.
Right.
If at the end of the day, if you want to say you're going to take the tariffs, for instance, right? Reciprocal tariffs. You do to us, we do to you, right? Eye for an eye type shit. You need the government people going to the American people going to sit around and be like, well, you told me I wasn't going to be broke anymore, but you're getting tax cuts. You think they're going to get reelected? Hell no. So I hope that's not the case. But which could be a good question for you. I mean, who are they going to throw? I mean, I feel like every week, who are the Democrats going to throw? I couldn't even find that damn Twitter list I wanted to send you. I know Asmongold was looking at it. I couldn't
you were
find the
talking
link.
about like Gavin Newsom and Bill Maher.
Yeah, the Newsom thing. Because I mean, I know you're not too big on Newsom.
No, not at
fucking
all.
leading the Democratic Party either. But
So I just saw a big survey that went out to a bunch of Democrat voters, not necessarily Democrats, but people who vote for Democrats, and it was over 80% said that they want the establishment gone. So they're not backing people like Kamala and Joe Biden and Gavin Newsom. They need people like Bernie, but he's so old now. I don't know, man. He's like 1,000 years old. But then there's AOC. But then again, a woman never can win the presidency. It seems like there's a lot of men out there who won't vote for a woman to be president. Keep in mind, Trump's only beat women. He's never beat a man in an election. So I don't really know who else there is. I know some people say Jon Stewart, which I guess would be cool. I mean, we need a personality like that.
I'd vote for Stewart.
I like Jon Stewart.
I mean, shit, if McConaughey fucking ran as a Democrat, I'd vote fucking for him.
McConaughey? Okay.
Why he's getting into politics. He's a very fucking centrist-minded person.
Oh, really?
He's the guy, bro. He's like, listen, the left, they're yelling on the left, they're yelling on the right. He's like, I'm in the middle of the road, dude. It's wide open. Come have a conversation.
Yeah, all he's got to do is step up at the debate and just be like, all right.
All right. But listen, but that's the point, though. You know what I mean? The same way that me and you can get together and have these conversations, and at the end of the day, it's like, I like you, I think you like me, and we move on with our lives, right? But we can have these conversations.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what a guy like him could do. That's what a guy like Jon Stewart could do. I don't think that's what someone like AOC could do. I think it's what someone like Newsom's trying to do it, and it's backfiring absolutely fucking hilariously. He went out and called he's like, yeah, the left is toxic.
Yeah, I saw that.
He's trying to do his podcast. He's trying to be more moderate. He's doing all the fucking hand things like Trump. He's trying to, you know what I'm saying? He's trying to do this stuff, right? But at the end of the day, like the same way that you're not going to vote for someone like him, I don't think anybody else would either,
I don't either. I think some of the people on the left want somebody who's really divisive. They feel like we have to counter Trump's divisiveness with our own divisive candidate, but Dems are not divisive people.
Right, but they just
agreeable.
put together a plan that makes sense, and that's what Bernie does the best, right? Bernie gets up there, how much we're gonna cut a living wage for everybody. You know what I mean? Like he gets up there and he just speaks words, and it's like, well, okay, the guy makes sense. I like Bernie Sanders. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of Trump voters like Bernie Sanders. So I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe
But
he's
when
not too
someone
wrong.
like AOC gets up there and it's like, what the fuck? It has nothing to do with the fact she's a woman either. It's just
What
like her
is it then? Because
talking
I don't feel
point.
that. I feel like she says the same stuff Bernie does.
No, because because Bernie leans into the facts and he's just like, listen, we're human beings. You know what I'm saying? I'm empathetic. She leans into, again, more of like the wokeness and the stuff that Kamala tried to lean into. And that's where I think she loses people and she'll lose someone like me. But if she just leans into the stuff where it's like, hey, we're all people, we're trying to earn, trying to earn our way through life. And because I remember AOC, bro. I remember her when she was first running up, trying to run through Twitch and going on Hassan's channel. Bro, she was very, very personable, man. Very personable. But now I see her now, and I'm like, she's got that money in her back pocket, like fucking Pelosi and the rest of them now.
Yeah, I do think
I
she
don't like
sold
it.
out a little bit. Yeah, once they get that
Yeah,
lobbyist money, they start making millions. They start making hundreds of thousands. They're ready to
but
play
it's
ball.
so hard to avoid it because we talk about it all the time. Take the money out of politics, and you'll start getting some more truth.
Yep,
You know. And
100%.
Stan, I think we talked. I mentioned it to you before. Shapiro from Pennsylvania.
Josh Shapiro.
Yep, that probably would and should be the guy for the Democrats. But again, he's not really a household name, so you have to do a lot of work,
True.
to get people to vote for him.
You got
you
time
know?
though. You got time to do that.
You do have time. You do have time. But listen, it's we got a long ways to go. I know the whole tariff things, but listen, they're not actually backfiring yet. I mean, right now you got a lot of countries that are like, hey, listen, you want to go reciprocal? That's cool. We got it. You got a lot of countries now that are 180 in on a lot of positions that they had early on. I mean, we got what? He says $5 trillion in verbal commitments. I think it's more like 3.5. You got everybody like Apple and car companies and all the biggest fucking silicon factories. They're all building in USA now, and that's going to lead to a lot of jobs. So that's not going to be something that happens overnight. We talked about this, but that is working to a certain extent. We could say that's working. With long term, what does it look like at election time? Who knows?
I don't think it's working at all. How many cars do you think are 100% made in the United States?
Well, moving forward, there's gonna be a lot more.
There's
and
zero.
If you buy one,
Zero.
and if you, no, it's not zero.
It's zero. There are zero cars that are made 100%. All the parts made in the United States. There are none.
I'm pretty sure Ford. I don't think Ford imports.
Yes, they do. Viper Actor says Chinese woman basketball player is 7'3". I've seen some video of her. It looks like she's playing with kids. I couldn't tell if she was like a kid. I think she might be like 14, 15. Like she's really young too. The next Yao Ming. Still no hood because he would be having a third time if he wins. No hood. What? I don't understand, Bruin 88. Was there a typo there? Because he would be having a third term if he wins. He's trying to. The tariffs will make America rich. How can the tariffs possibly make America rich if it's Americans paying the tariffs? It's American businesses that are paying the tariffs. Money goes to the government, but it's Americans' money. We're just taking money.
No, it's the same reason why we were prosperous in the 80s and 90s, because everyone made in America, bought in America, Americans made money, Americans had jobs. That's the idea behind it.
Right, but that's back when we had wages that you could afford you could buy a house, you could live off of the wages, and you don't have that ability anymore. You're not making enough money. People are not making enough money working regular jobs to buy a house to live, but yet they're now going to have to pay money to the government through these tariffs. I mean, that's just going to give them less money, and then of course they're going to push that on to the consumers. That's why people call it a tax. I mean, we'll find out, but this is April 1st. They're saying April 2nd is the day that all these tariffs go into effect, so I think we're going to find out right away what happens. You can see how the market is reacting to them, though. They're not liking them because the market is struggling. Shout out to Grandma Moore's in the chat. What's up, Grandma? Got to get
We were due for
woman.
a retrace anyway, but yeah, I mean, listen, we're going to find out, and, got to break a few eggs and make an omelet, right? It's the saying.
We're going to find out, but if it goes bad, we're all going to pay for it. Trump's argument is like my argument. Detroit is 90% African American, when in actuality, it's 86%. Not actually, but close. Trump can argue but not succeed in third term. What the hell are you talking about, sir? When in actuality, it's 80. So you're saying he exaggerates? I don't even think he can use the term African American anymore because Elon Musk is African American. So what do you mean by that? It doesn't even make that term don't even make sense anymore. The Pennsylvania governor is next up. That's the Josh Shapiro guy.
So confused.
I got to find out more about him. I'm in the middle too, just left went way over there. I mean, the far, far left, yes. And there's another thing from that survey that I was talking about. It was something like 70% of Democrat voters don't think that transgender people should be playing in sports opposite of the gender that they were born or the sex that they were born, and yet they're Republicans use that as a big talking point where they're saying, Dems are all for people letting people who are born men beat women in boxing and stuff like that, but that's not true. It's just because there's these
the people
extremes.
weren't, but the government sure as hell was. I think that was one thing on the Bill Maher thing with Newsom that was pretty interesting, because he was just called him out on it. He was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You don't have to inform the parents if they're using different identity, genders or whatever." It's like, what the fuck? And he's like, "Well, people can't get fired because of it and this, that." It's like, man, listen, your job isn't there to really And he's like, "Oh, their job is just there to teach," and that's not really the case of a teacher. We talked about this, I think, on previous shows, bro.
So you're saying the teacher should get into their personal life?
No, not into their personal life, but the teacher's job is there to be there as a guiding force for the kid. So what that means is we're born, our parents raise us until there's a time to go to preschool or elementary, and then it's the job of the education system, right, to keep us in line until we move on to our normal lives. But they can't be getting in the way of things and being like, "Oh, well," he said it's like snitch. You can't snitch on the kid, is what he said. It's like, these are the fucking parents' children, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't be not disclosing the fact of if Johnny wants to be, called a chick or whatever at school. It's like, I don't know. It just seems like it's weird that they can't get involved in that when it's like, well, it actually is kind of important,
Why is it important?
Because again, he mentioned it's like narking on the kid.
It is like narking on the kid. I mean, look, if somebody so you're saying if some boy starts dressing up like a girl and changing his name at school, that they should tell the parents. So where does that end? Is that not a slippery slope? What if the kid comes to school with blue hair? You got to tell their parents about that because you don't agree with it? I mean, I don't see how their morality should come into play here.
It's not about morality of what's right or wrong. It's whether or not they're in the loop. Because again, when I was growing up, my parents, my dad was in the loop with the teachers. You know what I'm saying? Like, they knew what was going on. Whereas nowadays, and I understand it, there's usually too many kids, not enough teachers. And, they just, even like my girl says it sometimes, she just, end of the day, she just turns her fucking phone off, turns her brain off, and doesn't want to be bothered. And I get it. But I don't know, man. It's a weird slope. But the bottom line is that they're trying to put legislation in that does make it okay to try to make these kids like, "Oh, well, if I'm having an identity crisis, like, I can just go to school and hide it." It's like, I don't even know if that should be the case.
I mean, I know of people who would, dress real conservative when they left the house, but then, they get into their car on the way to high school and then they take off their clothes. They got a mini skirt on, and you know what I'm saying? So it goes, I mean, it's like a slippery slope.
And there's dress code, and then the parents get a call and they're like, "What do you mean my daughter has a halter top on?"
Should the parents get a call about that too?
I think that's what they're called. I don't know if I ever told you this story, but, not provocative clothing, obviously. But when I was a kid, my dad actually bought me this shirt. It was a Bart Simpson shirt that we used to buy in the hood. Mm-hmm. And it said "Crack Kills" and it had Bart Simpson between a sumo wrestler's ass crack. And I wore that shit to school. You know what I mean? And my dad had no idea because I wore my, put my sweatshirt on. I covered it up, Yeah. Got to school and they were like, "What the hell are you thinking?" And fucking instantly got the call. My dad came to school, tearing, you know what I mean? Like, they were involved with it.
I had the same thing happen to me. I had a Sonic the Hemp Hog shirt, and they made me turn it inside out the rest of the day. That was my favorite shirt, too. Grandma Moore says, "My hubby says none." What did your hubby say none about? Danielle C says, "Someone called me right-wing the other day. Just to be clear, I am very much neither. I don't even vote because I refuse to take part in the system." You got to vote, though. I feel like you gotta let your voice be heard, or you're pretty much just letting people control your life without any say. You gotta have a little bit of say in it, I feel like, but I guess everybody's different. You're in Canada too, so you're gonna be fine either way. You don't have a crazy president like we do. Now you pass.
Well, they might soon.
Oh yeah,
if we absorb them.
Right. Tatum and Brown for the Celtics.
Greenland next.
They will love the interest and toss you. They will love the interest and toss you in jail. My scene in the line was when I found out there was cat literally boxes at the school. Grandma Moore, you believed that? That was proven to be completely false. Somebody just made that up. Joe Rogan said it on his show, and then they went and looked, and that's 1,000% false. Of course it's false. Why would anybody even believe that? They did not put litter boxes because some kid thought that they were a cat or identified as a cat. That was absolutely silly. How could anybody believe that in the first place? I don't know, but they did prove 100% that that's not true. Look it up on the internet. Can you find? I mean, that should be something you'd be able to verify. What's up, Ghost Slayer? Good to see you, my man. Are we excited for the mobile VeVe-verse? Make a Tran League for Tran?
Everyone's talking about. Yeah, that's why. Wait, what the hell do we call it?
Call what? I'm trying to figure out what a Tran League is.
I don't know if I made a joke on this show or another show. It's probably a bad joke now I think about it. Oh, I called it the TBA.
The to be announced?
The Trans Ballers Association. Trans Basketball Association.
Oh,
yeah, so you got the NBA and the TBA. And you could have the TFL, you could have the THL, you could have all these Trans leagues. Trans Hockey League, Trans... Go at it.
I like that.
Yo, a bunch of... I mean, you know, maybe fucking someone will take a hard concussion and knock some sense back into him. Okay. But, you know.
I didn't realize I was so far behind on the chat. My bad. Let me catch up. Ghost Slayer says, I watched Macho Man Reincarnated win everything. Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. Had to try to throw that argument in there because you were throwing shade on me with that statistic. So what's so great about the VeVe-verse on mobile? Isn't it going to be too small unless you're using like an iPad or something? It's already kind of tough to deal with in the first place. They should ask AOC to help them with the economics and the math. I agree. She's good at that stuff. There were cat litter boxes for real. Bro, prove it. I mean, can you prove it in any way? Please figure out a way to prove this. I know the school where there were in the cat. Okay, show me a news article, please. Anything. Shout out to Ronnie Lido's in the chat. What's up, Ronnie Lido? Use the money she saved by stopping Amazon from coming to New York. You know that those are only like executive jobs that were going to be coming anyway. I'm in the loop with the school and my kids. I mean, as a parent, it should be your job to know what your kid is going through anyway. I mean, I guess, maybe, I don't know. For me, I know for sure I would know whatever my kid's going through, but I guess everybody's different. What's up, Woody? Good to see you, my man.
Yeah, but you're a good parent, and I know that from talking with you and visiting your house. I mean, you're a good parent. But, like, I know a lot of bad parents, too, you know? Like, oh, where the hell is my kid? They've been swiping on their fucking phone for 20 minutes, you know? Like, oh, I hope my kid's all right. It's like...
My kid does that, too. I'm not going to lie. Bernie says AOC can count her tips. Oh, my God. Ghost Slayer says they're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the dogs. Eat the cat. Eat. That's a good song. That's my jam right there.
Eating the dogs.
Yeah. You notice how as soon as Odu got elected, no longer were they eating the cats or eating the dogs, and apartment buildings were no longer being taken over. And it's crazy. I mean, we talked about this last week, but a lot of people, even people on the right, I don't know if you know who Tim Dillon is, who's kind of part of the Rogan sphere, was on his podcast talking about the recent abduction of college students that have protested against the bombing of Palestinians. They're now abducting them and deporting them, even though they have green cards, and they're not even like given any type of due process. You don't get to go to court. They don't prove that you're a member of this gang that they say you're a member of. And like we talked about last week, there's one dude in particular who people are pretty sure is not a member of any type of gang. He's a gay hairdresser who fled Venezuela because the gangs were attacking the gay people in the first place. And he ends up, even though he was legally here, claiming asylum, ends up getting arrested and sent to El Salvador, put into a hardcore prison in El Salvador. Never broke a law, not one law at all. And people on the right just seem to be okay with it. It seems pretty dystopian and definitely unconstitutional. So, Mo, do you have a problem with what's going on with that?
Absolutely not. I mean, listen, if they're taking part in fucking groups against America, the fuck out.
Groups against America. Okay, they are protesting Israel killing babies and women in Palestine. How is that against America?
I'm just saying, if they're promoting corruption here or a problem here in the USA and they're on a green card, and we have to worry about them as some organization. I don't know exactly what you're talking about, but...
They have freedom of speech, too. Just because they have a green card doesn't mean they don't have freedom of speech. Like, when has it ever been illegal to protest?
Not illegal to protest, but even these protests nowadays, if you go and watch some of these streamers that are there, I mean, they're not the same type of protests. I mean, it's very uncomfortable for a lot of these students when they're walking around, too. I mean, you know, they pay to get an education.
No, they purposely had their protests like in the center square, like off of the sidewalk, so there's plenty of room to walk around. They were in the grass area.
Not all of them don't. I'm just saying, you know, listen, but if they're part of some group and they got to worry about them being on some fucking problem, I don't think they should just be fucking, you know,
So a lot of
thrown a
people,
fucking
including
bag
Tim
over their head
Dillon
and
and Joe
fucking
Rogan,
sent
are
away.
now
But
saying that it seems like America is just taking, or Trump or whoever you want to call it, is just taking their orders from Israel, because Israel is now saying that these people who are protesting them killing innocent people in Palestine are anti-Semitic, and that it's illegal to be anti-Semitic. So first of all, even if you are anti-Semitic, you're allowed to be anti-Semitic. It's crazy because you're basically saying that you can be racist against Asian people or black people, that's fine, but you just can't be racist against Jewish people, that's illegal. Like, how does it make sense at all?
well, no, because if you're doing it in a way where it becomes an issue, then
Well, how's
yeah.
it an issue? How does it become an issue?
Well, they're setting up on campuses and shit. And
Yes,
again, they're
just like they
yeah.
did in the 70s and the 80s, just like everybody's, it's always college students that are protesting stuff. This is not new.
Right, but I'm saying, but if they're getting in the way again of other people learning, and people that are getting uncomfortable around the campus, and and here's honestly the sad part of it is a lot of times it comes from the funding of these campuses, and that I don't agree with that, because if the money's coming in, and that, just saying what you're saying, like if Israel's telling USA whatever, if big donors to a university are like, hey, I don't believe in this shit, get rid of it, that's unfair. You know what I mean? But for people that are, in the way and, creating a scene, making people uncomfortable, yeah, those people shouldn't be tolerated.
For
But,
making
yeah,
people
you could-
uncomfortable?
in the manner in which they do it, yeah, that shouldn't be allowed.
I mean, you don't think people were getting uncomfortable by the protests against the Vietnam War in the 70s? People weren't getting uncomfortable about the protests against violence, police violence in LA in the 80s. I mean, protests are supposed to make people uncomfortable, and this country, you're supposed to be allowed to protest. It's all over the Constitution, not just freedom of speech, but also freedom of assembly, which is exactly what this is. So pretending like just because it's against one particular country, Israel, that all of a sudden makes it evil. So here's my thing that I've been thinking about recently.
Well, for me, it's not about Israel, though.
Well, let me
I'm saying
let
if you're
me
on
say
the
this, Mo, because
campus,
I'm gonna be on the bad side after this, because I think what I'm about to say is very racist. But I don't understand something about Israel, and again, this might be really racist. That's fine, call me out. But I've been thinking about it. I'm like trying to understand the whole situation, and the whole situation is about Israel saying that they have a claim there because they were there first. This is where their people come from. But if they came from Israel, and the people to the north have brown skin and big noses, and the people to the south have brown skin and big noses, and the people to the east have brown skin and big noses, and the people to the right have brown skin and big noses, why would the Jewish people look different if they actually came from that place? It doesn't make sense. And if you look at their DNA, it all says they're from Eastern Europe. So it's not their land. So their whole claim in the first place is just bogus. Or am I wrong? I don't hear anybody else have this take at all, which doesn't make sense to me. It seems pretty obvious. Am I missing something?
well, you're missing the one missing piece:
Okay.
aliens.
There it is.
I'm not even fucking kidding. I'm not even kidding, dude. If you want to know why people look like that in the same parts of the world, and you want to know why all these cultures know the same shit on opposite polar fucking sides of the globe,
True.
this is why. This is why. And we're going to dive more into this. And listen, I'm not trying to fucking have bad takes here, but I'm just saying, Big A, like, listen, if people are on campuses making people uncomfortable, again, it has nothing to do with Israel. They could be protesting fucking Hostess cupcakes for all I give a shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if they're doing it in a manner where they're now becoming a problem on campus, then they should be removed from the campus. That's all. Should they be fucking bags over their head, fucking thrown in fucking facilities? No, probably not. But I'm just saying, it has nothing to do with what they're actually protesting against.
I don't think they should be deported for protesting. And Grandma Moore says, freedom of speech, no violence, though. But there was no violence. There's no violence that has been committed by these people that are being deported for protesting. Brune88 says, I don't mind Bernie Bros. Even Brune88 likes Bernie Bros. I think Bernie, I don't care how old he is, he still seems really competent. I feel like he might still
I
have a
told you I
chance.
love Bernie, bro. If that motherfucker ran, I'd have a hard time not voting for him.
Brune88 says, if you are American, you're entitled to due process. However, think about that, though. If you're an American, you're entitled to due process. So if you're not American, you don't have due process. You don't get court. You don't have any proof against you. So they can grab anybody. They can grab you. They can grab me. And they can say, he's not an American, so we're not going to take it to court to prove that he's not American and just deport you. That's the problem with not giving everybody due process. That's why the Constitution says everybody should have due process. Shout to D. Ramos is in the chat. Good to see you.
Well, that was when everybody here was an American citizen. But once you open up the lanes of asylum and all that gray area,
do you not see that point, though? If they don't give everybody due
I
process...
see your point.
They can grab you and just say that you're not an American citizen and you have no way to prove it because there's no due process. They just send you out.
Well, I can prove it because I have American ID.
You can't prove it. You don't have to. Who are you going to prove it to? If it's just ICE agents coming to your house, arresting you, putting you in handcuffs, putting you on a plane, and sending you to El Salvador, at what point here do you prove who you are?
I mean, for me, being an actual American citizen, ICE ain't coming here. But I understand your point. Now, again, if you're an illegal immigrant that's out protesting, and you're creating attention to yourself, bringing attention to yourself, probably wouldn't surprise me. But if you're just some random person going along with your life, and ICE rolls up, it's like, yeah, you have a hard time proving it.
Exactly, and he can start doing it to all his political opponents, people that he sees on Twitter, like me, talking trash about him. He might just pick me up one day. That's why I need to stop talking trash about Trump. I need to turn. Where's my MAGA hat? Let me back up here. Let's tax.
Nah, I don't think they get away with it with dragging white guys like us out. That's, to be honest.
Who's gonna stop him? What he said. There's another guy from Maryland, a legal resident, dad of an autistic kid, taken, no due process. Yeah, that's the dude I'm talking about. That's the barber, who's a gay barber apparently. No, maybe it's a different guy, but he had an autistic brother, and he had an autistic tattoo, and they tried to say that tattoo was a gang tattoo, but the tattoo literally has like the puzzle that they use for autistic awareness. Little puzzle piece. It's kind of like their logo, and it had like mom and dad on it. There was nothing gang related about it at all, but he has no due process, so he can't prove that. 28 says, hit the road, Jack. Denny Hosey says, I think it was, they don't want non-students protesting on campus or school areas. I mean, I can understand that. If they don't want non-students there, that's fine. I don't have no problem with that. What about all the non-students? Yeah, get rid of the non-students. That's okay with me. They can
those people were students, though.
Off campus.
Weren't
they can
they?
protest off campus. What's that?
But those people were students, though, right? That were taken.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were all.
That's what I mean. They were students on that campus.
Yes.
So I mean,
and they did nothing violent. All they did was
right.
protest. One of the girl that got snatched up by unmarked police officers. All she did was write an article. She wrote an article. Like, you're not allowed to write articles. That's what this country was founded on: freedom of speech. If it makes people uncomfortable, WTF? F their feelings. Exactly. How uncomfortable are the people that are getting bombed right now? Ronnie Leto says everything should be protested. In France, they protest everything, bro. They have daily protests. Too many protests that if seems like overusing the F word, it doesn't mean anything anymore. Especially after knowing how many of them are. How do you know people are being paid? That's just some right-wing propaganda bullcrap. Nobody's being paid to protest. That's such bullcrap.
I mean, we have talked about this, and I have seen reports on that too. But yeah, I mean, more right-leaning columns. Not gonna discount that. But then again, I don't think the left would ever really research that. So
I mean, they can always fake it too.
Oh shit, you got your hat on.
Yeah, I did have.
I didn't realize.
Had the MAGA hat on. I don't want to get.
Trying to keep yourself in the country. I got it.
I don't want to get deported, bro. Slayer, what's the Balfour Declaration? Is that the deal we had with Ukraine? I thought that's what that was. I could be wrong. It's all kayfabe. Prove me wrong. It probably is. Ramos says, yeah, I saw you in the chat. What's up, Ramos? I know everybody's talking about the VeVeverse app, bro. I haven't downloaded it. Tell me what the advantages are of the VeVeverse app. I want to know. It seems silly to me. It seems like it'd be too small to work with. What's up, Jay Hirsch? Good to see my man.
It's just new.
Of course, Jay Hirsch thinks they're all actors too. Yeah, they're all Christ actors. That's what they said about all these school shootings too, and none of that was true. I mean, come on, bro. You don't think people are out there protesting? You don't think?
Oh, I would never say that. No one's out there protesting. But
so why would they need to pay
there
people? Is... They're protesting on their own. They would need to pay, like, how many people are they paying? And nobody is leaking this information? Come on, dude. It's such a silly thing to believe.
I mean, there have been leaks, but again, they're more on the right. So,
There's a video where it turned 3 p.m. and half of them walked away like their shift was done. Maybe they have stuff to do. Maybe they all decided that maybe whenever they signed up for this in some little Facebook group or some Twitter DM, they're like, we're going to protest from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., be there at some point. And then when 3 p.m. came, they all left because that's what they had scheduled in the first place. It doesn't mean that they were paid.
And maybe they had to take a bus together. I remember I was doing some nonprofit, I guess you can call it fucking, not boycotting, but we were like hanging out down there, shouting stuff. And fucking everybody had to leave at the same time. We had to catch the bus.
Right.
Now, I don't know. Maybe this is a suburban area because if you're on Long Island, you're probably not taking a bus. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, maybe they had to take a ferry.
No, I know. Just
Woody says that's why the courts have to have separate branches and non-political. have to be separate branches. Well, it used to matter, but checks and balances apparently don't matter anymore. The guy I'm talking about is a news story. Vance looked like an idiot talking about it today. Vance did some other crazy stuff today too. Let me pull it up because I did bookmark it. So
He was popping off about some Greenland shit too.
the Greenland stuff makes me mad. Let me pull this up so you guys can see it. Boom. So he was talking about that MS-13 gang member with no legal right to be here, saying that they were convicted. But of course, everybody looked that up, and the person, of course, was not convicted. There was no court hearing. There was no court appearance. You got all the information right here about it. So the vice president of the United States of America is just straight up lying about it. And I think this is about that gay hairdresser. And they're saying, he was convicted. And then, no, he was not convicted. You're just straight up lying. And it's just, people are saying now lying is OP. And that's pretty much just how the government is being run now. You can't beat lying. I mean, what do you do if you just lie?
If you watch Survivor, right? Like, there's two key things to lying to people. First, you got to build them up with some truth. You know what I mean? You got to gain their trust, right? And you hit them with a lie. And then, if you notice, like a modern Survivor, you got to be the last word. If you're the last word going into tribal council, you're going to get your way.
That's how
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't really have to make sense anymore and have like all this truth. But as long as you're like the last scrambling word before the press conference, like that's what's going to be said. Like they're eating the cats and the dogs, you know, like it's just going to be fucking crazy nonsense sometimes. And, you know, I don't know.
That's the way it is. Daniel C says, my aunt, do you say aunt or aunt? I used to say aunt, but I feel like it's country and I'm supposed to say aunt. What do y'all say in New York?
We say aunt.
You say aunt? Okay, that's what you say. I thought I was country saying, all right, my aunt.
Nah, we say aunt.
Was a member of Greenpeace back in the day amongst other protest groups. She never had a job, but made a decent, I remember you saying that before, living and traveled the world. Just saying. Who was paying her, though? I mean, I've got this pulled up right here. I mean, all you gotta do is have some evidence. You can't really say that something is true without evidence. Just like the other day, somebody said that we know for sure that illegals are voting in elections. I mean, there's not evidence. You can't know something for sure without evidence. You're just guessing. So Bernadette here is talking about no paid protesters. Just show me some evidence. I'll be happy to look it up. I mean, I just don't believe it's a thing. Like, doesn't it really make sense? Why would they be paying for people to protest? How does that help them? How does that make them money? How does it do anything?
See, I'm not gonna see even some of the stuff I think I told you about that I saw was like an ABC fucking news thing or whatever. But like they just walk up to the guy. How the fuck do I know that guy wasn't a paid actor to be said he was a paid actor? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, I'm only gonna believe this shit, and this is why I love live streaming. Even like during the BLM stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, no matter what the left was saying, the right, CNN, Fox News, right? I never believed it. But if I tuned into YouTube or Twitch and everyone was doing IRL at the time, you would see what was really going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was never really what was being portrayed on either channel. And that was the fucking sad truth, you know? But we don't see this shit, bro. Like, you know, more people need to be out, you know, IRL and this shit, fucking getting some real answers. Because,
and more people are now, and I think that's good. But yeah, they always got to spin on it. Each side has their own spin on everything that happens. They're always going to come up with the best scenario, and then all their people are going to repeat that scenario. Woody says, I didn't know you watch ABC News.
You know why? ABC News pops up the most for me because I watch like American Idol. I watch The Rookie. I watch a lot of ABC shows. So
gotcha.
If normally it'll pop up and, you know, tonight at 10. You know what I mean?
Yep. All right, we're going to move on to our next topic, and I'm going to take it to Mo and Tell. Are you ready for Mo and Tell, Mo? You can tell them about
yeah, we can do some Mo and Tell.
What's going on in Web3 gaming, y'all. And then after that, we'll get into crypto and I guess talk about the VeVeVerse Mobile. I still haven't seen anybody in the chat tell me what's good about VeVeVerse Mobile. I haven't downloaded it, so maybe I'm missing something, but I don't see the point.
Cool. Oh, I guess I can just bring up a little bit of information here on my screen.
Let me add my mic in here so I can put my commentary in here. Grandma Moore says, Google isn't going to tell you. Got to look under gig work or grassroots opportunities. I do think you should use a different search engine than Google. I need to start using a different search engine than Google. All right, we're going to talk about Off the Grid and the coin they just launched finally that we've been talking about for a while. Oh, you, Mo.
Yes, sir. So yesterday, they finally launched their coin onto mainnet. The NFTs and everything on the game still on testnet. They're going to be migrating everything over for the next couple of weeks. But yeah, I mean, token price came out, ran up to like 11.5 cents, something like that. But quickly came back down. Now sitting at like six 6.5 cents. Yeah.
Did you buy any?
So yeah, I think I sold at like 10, and I had to run out for a little bit. I'm like, well, just in case it goes up, I throw $100 in, but it's on Binance, so if you're in the U.S. and you're trying to deal with fucking BNB coins, you could travel and use like MEXC. I'm not saying that's what I did, but they all working to get it on other exchanges and decentralized exchanges as well, from what I understand. But anyway, yeah, the token's live. So next thing will be the NFTs, everything going on chain. I know Big A's happy. He's got a bunch of stuff. He should make out pretty well. And yeah, I just think it's good, man. It's good for Web3 gaming. But a lot of people already like, oh, the coin's not doing anything.
Of course,
But
it's crypto. What do you expect?
yeah, but it was like at like what the fuck was it? Big A might know these. That was like 100 billion or $1 billion fucking fully diluted value at some point yesterday or some shit. So I mean, listen, this is a token in my brain. It's just like it's like a no-brainer in my mind. So I'm gonna hang on to it, but I'll probably put some more money in at some point. But once it starts to run, but yeah, I mean, today apparently, if you play today, you get like a April Fool's patch or something.
Oh, nice. I know it's an awesome game to play for sure.
Oh, it's a great game, and they just updated it a few weeks ago, made it silky smooth. That was always my one complaint. I was like, if you can't make it run like Fortnite, make it run like Rogue Company, where it's like silky smooth, strafing, everything moving good. I've always been like a fucking video snob when it comes to like gaming. But there's this new, I couldn't figure it out. And I actually had to learn something new from Off the Grid. But I was like, man, what is like this new visual feature that a lot of these games have it too, where it's almost like you're walking down a hallway, but you're not seamlessly walking. It's like it's kind of like it's warping forward, pushing itself forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like a very jarring way to look at like a background. And I come to find out it's actually from like some new frame. It's like it fills the frames in between, basically. It's like some new technology, whatever, for gaming. And most game developers don't know how to use it properly yet. So it winds up creating a very jarring experience. And Off the Grid had it the worst I've ever seen in my life. To the point where I had to learn what the fuck it was, because I'm like, this is bad.
Right.
But they fixed it. And now, yeah, the game runs great. But at its core, it's a fun game to drop into, shoot some people, fucking try to get some cubes out or hexes, and there's your NFTs,
Yeah, and I see where Big A is saying you get that free mask today. All you gotta do is play one game. Hopefully, my kid did not delete Off the Grid from his PlayStation. I might go in there after this and play one game so I can get my free mask, because who knows what it'll be worth 10 years from now. So yeah, that's what's going on with Off the Grid. It is a game that is on the Avalanche blockchain, and it's available on PlayStation. It's available on, I think, X Series, Xboxes, and Steam also. It's a really good game. It's kind of like Fortnite, where you're dropping in and working with the team to try to survive till the end. Very cool game. You guys should check it out if you haven't already. Ronnie Lato said he's going to go back to trimming his ladies up. Yeah, how many girlfriends you got, bro? Okay. How hairy are they?
Trim that bush.
D. Ramos says, watch the video VeVe just dropped, but it could be an April Fool's joke. I've seen a couple people say that. I've got it pulled up right here. We'll check it out. And this is about the new VeVeverse app. Let me catch up with the chat. We'll check that out next. I don't know why. I mean, is it really cool looking? Everybody's saying it could be an April Fool's joke.
It's not ray tracing, Stan. It's like FGV. It's like frame generative something. But
oh, I see. Is the Sui Ox one worth buying? Thanks. Bro, we are not into crypto anymore. I don't know, maybe Mo is more than me. I have not been paying attention to crypto. What about you, Mo? Do you know? I know Sui blew up for a while. I think it's a whole new blockchain. But I don't know what OX1 is.
Nah, I'm pretty much out of the game when it comes to that shit, dude.
We gotta change the name. We gotta change the name of our show because we don't even we don't even do crypto that much anymore. Crypto is just dying right now thanks to Trump. But
Tales from the world.
I do think it's gonna blow up again. I mean, he's already got his bags packed, and he's the one who controls what happens. So I do think Eric Trump will take over at some point and get their bags to blow up. So it would be smart to have some bags of the stuff that World Liberty Financial is holding, which is all these U.S. coins like Ethereum, Solana, Bitcoin, Avalanche, and a few others. XRP for some reason. I don't know what ray tracing is either, Stan. Stan, you know more about it than I do. Chill out, kiddies.
Ray tracing is like for lighting and stuff. But
I hear you.
yeah. But no, I'm talking about what I was talking about was like frame generative stuff where if it realizes there's like a gap in the like from moving from point A to point B, it kind of like fills the gap.
Right.
But again, some games and some engines, the way it's handled, whether it be like a movement speed or maybe it's like a field of view, the way you're looking at the game, it doesn't always come across the way games developers want it to. And I had to watch quite a few videos before I even learned what the fuck it was. And then a few days later, they would like put out patch notes and it was in there. So
there you go. So it told you what it was.
Yep, and then at least I knew something. But
Big A says the gun token is the gas token to guns with a Z blockchain, and will be so it's its own blockchain. Will be used for all Gunzilla games, and not just OTG off the grid. Also, they're putting 30% of gross revenue into token buybacks. I like that. But I've seen a couple of their other games. They were not impressive. I mean, I saw one game, the ones they were talking about on the Bones podcast. I know you told me the name of it, the Bones whatever podcast, and they looked like an Atari game. It was not impressive at all, but Off the Grid is impressive. So hopefully they got some more AAA games coming around. Ronnie Lato said 16 girls this round, 12 girls last month. Are these animals? All right, maybe Ronnie Lito's just bringing them in like that.
Weed plants, bro. Weed plants.
Let's go. All right, let me pull up this video. I've got it muted, but you should be able to see, unless I got to move it around a little bit. Some of these previews are going to show. Let me put it over here where we can see better. VeVeVerse Mobile, the mobile app. Let's see what's so special about this.
Oh, we're done with Mo and Tell. I had a fun game I wanted to play with you in chat.
All right, let me. I'll pull you back up after we check this out.
Yeah, let's see what we got.
All right, so this is the VeVeVerse mobile app. I'm actually kind of impressed and surprised that they were able to create a mobile app. Let me get this. Oh, I guess I can't.
Shots fired.
Get you blocked here. There we go. Can you see it? No. There we go. I don't really see anything so awesome about this. What are you guys impressed about this? Why does everybody think it's an April Fool's joke? I mean, it does seem like a joke because I'm surprised they could build this so fast. Have they been working on this for a while? I didn't even know a VeVeVerse app was coming. It took them 4 years to do the actual VeVeVerse, and just like that, they've got the app. Maybe because it's all web-based in the first place.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, it might have been all their revamps they did on their site a while back.
Right. Yeah, I guess it's gonna let more people spend time building while they're out, maybe like on an airplane or on a bus or something. You got nothing to do. Now you can do it from your phone. And that's pretty much what VeVe has become now. It's all about building in the VeVeVerse, which ain't nobody got time for that. I ain't got time for that. I personally do not do a lot of building in the VeVeVerse. I've seen some pretty impressive creations, but it's not something that I'm really that interested in. And it seems pointless, too. The whole point of it is to try to get a like and a retweet from David Yu. I'm not spending hours for that.
I've done it a few times. I need more pieces. I can't even do a fucking pyramid.
Can't, for real?
Without trying to fucking haphazardly fucking Afro-engineer some shit.
Yeah, you have to spend hours and hours just first of all figuring out how everything works, the mechanics of it all, and then after that it takes hours and hours to get everything in the places that you want to make the scene you want. It's just like, bro, who cares? I do not care about that. There's no point.
Well, yeah, it wouldn't even be so bad if they were like, if I could make one corner and then like copy and paste multiple pieces, I would do that. But they don't let you do that. You can copy and paste one piece right now. And when you paste the piece, it actually resets the fucking rotation and everything back to the original. So if I, have to like shift something 17 degrees, you know what I mean? I have to go back in and do that fucking perfectly every single time.
Yes, that's how it was too. Whenever it was just the regular showroom in the app, it was like, bro, this is so much work. Ronnie Lito says I couldn't. Oh, he's talking about Off the Grid. Yeah, they optimized it. He said he wasn't able to play a few months ago. That's what Mo was saying too.
Dude,
it was choppy.
Oh man, yeah, it's night and day different. Like now, I'm like, holy shit, this is a fun game.
Shout out to Thanu's in the chat. All right, this is a good topic real quick. We got a little extra time. Ronnie Lido says, single for 19 years and counting, never looked back since 23 years old. Me personally, I've been single for like, I want to say 8 years and counting. And man, after being married once and going through a divorce, I feel like women are overrated. Like, I'm not gay and I don't like dudes and I would never be with a dude. But then again, I ain't mess with no girls either, dude. They're just gonna make you spend a bunch of money on them. They're gonna complain the entire time, and then they're gonna like cheat on you or something. It's like, what's the point? What do you think, Mo?
I mean, I've been with my girl for 13 years.
Okay. But not married yet?
Like, no. I know I gotta write a book, right? You know, for me. I always thought about that. I was like, you hear the stories, right? Like, oh, being gay is probably fucking awesome, right? It's like, hang out, watch sports with your
if
fucking
it wasn't
dudes,
for the
right?
butt stuff, I mean, that's...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But that's something like, oh, but everything else, man. It's like, what the fuck? Nah,
with
man.
your
Like,
buddy,
I love
football? Come on.
like, I love pussy. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I don't always love the smell of it, but, you know, that's what a nice little douching's for. But, you know, I don't know, man. Like, that was just me. My whole joke was like, you know, because I never actively went to gay bars, but like there were times we were out, and if you go to like, especially when I was in San Francisco, I wandered into like we went on some fucking bar crawl.
Yeah.
And 1 o'clock in the morning, we wound up at this place called the Mint. I didn't know it was like on the outskirts of like the Castro, which is like the Rainbow area. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's like you wind up wandering these fucking places, and it's like after 2 dudes hit on me, I was like, listen, I don't swing that way. I'm flattered, but, you know, have a good night, you know?
Right.
But after that, it's like, ain't really that big of a fucking deal. But for me personally, I just love pussy. It's always been that way.
I feel you. I know how you are. And I have that same type of story that happened to us, too. I think I've talked about it before on here. It was like when I was married, we used to go out to Louisville to this one strip that had all the bars. And we were bar hopping, and we went to this one bar. And they're playing like Miley Cyrus or whatever, and there's a bunch of dudes there, and this dude's walking over and is like, oh, he's about to start talking to my girl when I'm standing right here. And of course, no, he starts talking to me, and it ends up being a gay bar, but it was really cool, and we ended up going back like 2 or 3 different times on other weekends because it was a fun place to hang out. It was called
listen,
the bar, the big bar.
The place, the Mint that I went to was like a karaoke gay bar or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't like say, hey, I can't wait to come back next weekend. But like, I think we went back once for like some chick's birthday party. You know what I mean? It was like her and a bunch of lesbians. It's like, sign me up.
It was the cleanest bar of them all.
Yeah, I mean, out in San Francisco, you know, really ain't much too clean.
Ronnie says, I'm starting my first art sculpture. Let's go. Build soon. See how it goes. Yes, Ronnie Leto's a big artist. He does a lot of murals. He's going to do a sculpture. What is it of? That coming through, Mo, in the hopeful near future. What he says, I haven't kept up with it lately. Just log in to make sure my account doesn't delete. I did go for a drop the other day. It was like on a Monday. It was some naked chick, so I had to go for it. It was like a Phygital. If you got the secret rare, you got the Phygital too. But then I got 2 commons. So I was like, meh. Everybody wants that feature. Yes. Yeah, I want to see that sculpture too. What are you making? I have to try and play now. To each their own. It's a personal endeavor. One of the hardest things I ever tried was not to try. Some people are okay with being single. I'm okay with being single. I went too hard too quick when I was young. Same here, honestly. That's probably my problem too. Stan the Man says it's fun to stay at the YMCA. It is. I think it's funny that Trump uses the YMCA song as his like campaign song. He obviously doesn't know what it's about. He has no idea. I used to love women being single. So much fun, says Bruin at 88. There came a point I needed to settle down. Happily married with 2 boys. Yeah, I'm getting old, but then again, I don't know if it's worth it, man. It's going to be a huge entranceway sculpture. There we go. But it will be epic. My computer will have to be put to the limits to make it happen. How you're doing it on your computer? So what, are you like designing the architecture on your computer? Because I figure if it's a sculpture, this is all being done physically. Is it like a digital sculpture? Is this a VeVe-verse sculpture? Bro, I thought you were actually building something that mattered.
Oh, God.
And then also our last topic, that's usually crypto and VeVe. We talked about VeVe a little bit, but what's going on in the world of crypto? We kind of touched on it a little bit.
Well, I just have one more thing for you.
Please do.
Throw me back to Mo and Till.
Yes, sir. Here we go.
Make sure you can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, so this one, you know I've been going down my rabbit holes.
Oh, Here we go.
And I feel like a lot of our shows nowadays could essentially become like rewatch of Ancient Aliens on history.
Yep.
But what I've been noticing, okay, because growing up, I don't know if you had this experience, maybe other people did. You know, I had to go to, catechism, right, to get like confirmation and what's it called? Was it
I don't know what that is.
communism? Not communism. I mean, confirmation and the hell's the other one? Oh my god, I can't think of it right now. But anyway, we had to go. We had to get two things at church, and I'm trying to bring this up on my computer at the same time while talking. But what I always said about the Bible, all right, is it intrigued the hell out of me, but it never made sense, right?
Right.
But I'm telling you now, the older I get and the more that I know, and the more that I learn, and I think I know, and I go back now and I start going back to the Bible, if you take, I don't want to offend any religious people here, because I'm not trying to, because I'm not saying that it's not real. But if you go back and if people are confused by the Bible and you substitute anything that's God related for aliens or UFOs, the entire thing makes sense. The entire thing. Like from Jacob's ladder to like lights and things in the sky and to like telepathic voices and the transportation, like it all makes way more sense, okay? Now here up on my screen, can you see this, Bolt?
Yep.
Okay. There's a couple different pictures here. These like old paintings, right, from like olden times. This is like from like the 15th century, right?
Yep.
Look at how they're always worshiping these things up in the sky, right? Now, you could say, oh, it's a comet. Well, why the hell is it going up? Or a meteor. Why the hell is it going up? A lot of times people say, oh, there was a flaming dragon in the sky. That's like a big origin story for many cultures and civilizations. What if it was a rocket? Wouldn't a rocket coming down to the Earth, kind of with some flames behind it, wouldn't that kind of look like a big metal dragon in the sky? Kinda?
Definitely, yes.
So think about this painting here. It's one of them. Then we'll move on to this. This is from one of the crucifixion paintings of Jesus himself, right?
Yep.
How they're always depicting people inside rocket ships and spaceships, right? The same aerodynamics that we use today. The same type of spacesuits that we use today. Okay, am I tripping on this already? Like,
no, I mean the actual word that they use, that they translate it into angel, doesn't really. I mean, it means beings from the stars.
Correct. I do like messenger.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So this is like some advertisement or whatever from the olden times. But again, worshiping like some sort of orb or disc in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you see like these little things, like these little octopus squid looking things up in the sky?
Yeah.
These are also very prevalent in a lot of old paintings. And you could be like, well, maybe they're stars, right? But stars are never really depicted like this. And you'll see a lot of these things in the sky in a lot of these paintings. This is one of my favorites.
Mine too.
You ever seen this one? You seen this?
The Madonna.
Yeah, bro. This one. I mean, look at you ever see this guy peering out in the distance on the back?
Yeah, and his dog. You know, there's a dog right there too.
Yep,
also
the dog right here.
It's
also looking up. It's not like, oh, they could be looking at her, wondering what she's doing. No, they're not. No, they're absolutely not. Again, off to the left, you see the same type of octopus things up in the sky.
I never noticed that in the painting before. That's wild.
Yep. You can also see, like, is she protecting them from these things up in the sky? We don't know. I love this one. But then you got this one. I'm sure you've seen this one too, right?
Yep.
This goes back to the whole biblical story of like, she was Virgin Mary. How the hell did she get pregnant? Well, if aliens and UFOs impregnated her with some sort of freaking, insemination beam like we're seeing here depicted, shit, that would make total sense how she was a virgin. No?
Yeah.
Right? So I'm just saying, man, like all of these things, this is another one. This is the baptism of Jesus. Again, depicting looks like a fucking UFO. Like, what else would this possibly be? A chandelier? With just crazy focus beams coming down. You got this one. I brought this one up, I think, on our show. It's like the Nuremberg battle.
Oh yeah.
That pure celestial battle that people swore they saw take place. But this, are you familiar with the Pakal guy?
Yep.
This is the Mayan shit, right?
Yep.
So if you look at this normally, some people will say, okay, well, I don't know what the hell it is. But if you look at it in a colorized version, removing some of the noise, does this not look like a dude in a spaceship?
You look at his foot; it's clearly on a
Yep.
pedal.
Yep, foot on a pedal, hands on some sort of mechanisms, breathing apparatus. If you're up in space, you have to breathe, right? This is some breathing apparatus going through his nose.
And this was a leader who appeared out of nowhere and brought a bunch of new technology and then disappeared.
Right, and all the origin stories of these civilizations are the exact same. The only thing that changes is the name of the god or the person that comes, right?
Right.
And a lot of times it's Pakal, it's Quetzalcoatl is the other one, right? Quetzalcoatl, whatever his name is.
Yep.
You got that one. It's always, and a lot of times it's always a feathery serpent, right? That comes from some unknown place. Usually he's carried on serpents of some sort. That's what they say. Bringing knowledge and all this stuff. Well, think about this again, going back to ancient times of civilizations. You got, was it the Mayans, the Indians, the Chinese? They all worship and have the origin of like the same dragon. And I don't have the pictures here, but there's actually a lot of stone carvings that show them holding like that acorn looking thing. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Yeah, I'm seeing bring it up here. But it actually shows them in two different opposite polar ends of the world, like the same exact sculpture. Like the same bird-looking thing, holding the same, there's like a cornucopia-looking thing.
Yep.
And, bro, it's fucking trippy, bro. Like, how? How? And again, take, the timeline with the Bible and the floods and all this, right? I'm going to throw one more at you. You ever heard the Noah's Ark theory of the DNA? The DNA lab?
Yeah, where they're saying that they really did have two of every animal, but they didn't have the physical animals. They had DNA of each animal.
Bro, how does that not make more sense than anything? Because I was always like, Noah's Ark? Okay, buddy.
Right.
You're going to put two of every animal on the earth inside this ark. Okay, guy. I'm sure you did. But if they were just bringing two animals in, taking their DNA, killing off the animals, and doing some Jurassic Park shit down the line, well... wouldn't that make way more sense?
Makes more sense, but that would be a lot of technology they would need to pull that off. But then again, if there was people who had advanced technology that were wiped out during the Younger Dryas, then maybe that some of that was passed on, or maybe that actually happened at earlier in history, because that flood myth goes out through all civilizations.
Right, and it's always pretty consistent with the time frame, right?
Right.
And I blew my boy's mind with this too, because he was saying the same thing. It's like, yeah, but bro, he's like, we're only so civilized, right? Bro, we've only had, 2,000 years. Think about how long these other civilizations would have had if this ancient, astronaut theory.
Right.
If this is correct, think about how many thousands of years they would have had for that technology. It would put us to fucking shame. We would be like a drop in the fucking bucket.
True.
So that's, just in my mind, that's right. Think about this too. Most of our advancements has only come really since the Industrial Revolution.
Right.
So look at how they were tracking, latitude and longitude, right? Going back with ancient fucking tools that we couldn't figure out for the longest fucking time.
Yeah, I was just watching a little bit of video that was taken of, I think it was Chicago in the 1920s, and just to think how much technology has changed in just 100 years, and then you put that up against like thousands of years, you have no idea how much technology could have advanced in that time.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, the more I think about, like I said, the only thing that ever fascinated me as a kid was Egypt. And my old teacher, Ms. Zanetti, she would always laugh. She's like, dude, you don't fucking pay attention for shit. She's like, but we started doing Egypt, and your eyes just fucking are locked in.
Nice.
And because I was always interested by it, because it's the unknown, the mystery of it all.
Right.
Like, American history it's not the same for me, because it's like, we know because, it was closer in time frame. It was written down. You know what I'm saying? We know what we know. But actually, when it comes to that, I'm sure you probably know this too, maybe chat. When it came to like the construction of even like our capital itself. So Washington, part of the Freemasons, right?
Right.
The Freemasons' sole purpose of being created was to find out the roots of our civilizations. That was their sole purpose of being created.
Oh, really?
So yeah, I didn't know it either actually. So if that was their sole purpose for creation, and then at 20 years old, Washington joins, and then the Freemasons are key in orchestrating and building not the actual construction, but the cornerstones and everything else that they would be key for. They were the parts of our capital in DC, right? So even with the alignments and the 90 degrees and the alignment to the constellation, bro, it's all there. Even in our own fucking capital.
Yeah, I
The
know there's some
Washington
symbolism there
Monument,
too.
the obelisk, the fucking pyramid on the dollar bill, bro. Like it all, like the fact that we're trying to dig into Egypt, and now it's like, well, let's take a look over here a little bit too. Like hell, I don't know, man. To me, like this really is the only thing outside of paying my bills that I could give two fucking shits about. I'm going to Egypt. I've already decided I'm going.
I hear it's really bad for tourists. Like there's a lot of scams, and they're
don't really care. I have to stand on the fucking Giza Plateau, and I have to see it before I die. I have to do it.
You should check it
And
out.
I figure while I'm over there,
Oculus
gonna go to
Quest.
Italy.
If you have Oculus Quest, you can actually go through the pyramids in VR. I've done it before a couple times. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
It's
me and
not
the
the
girl
same,
went there.
unfortunately.
Yeah, I just wanna stand there and I wanna look up, and I wanna see it.
Me too.
You know.
All right, let me catch up with the chat. Ronnie Lido says I can't run VeVeverse on his computer. Oh yeah, a lot of people can't. When you're married with kids, your wants kind of take a backseat. Oh yeah, when I had a kid, that changed everything. The way I looked at the world, all my goals, everything was changed, 100%, for the better. Ronnie Lido says I'm currently getting ready for my next art show. I have 3 pieces in, new pieces of a style I created the world hasn't seen yet. Oh, he's breaking barriers over here. Let's go. I need more information about this, Ronnie Lido. Like, tag me whenever you release the information about it on Twitter. I want to see it. Cataclysm. I think that's what you were talking about, Mo. It's an old take, Mo, talking about the paintings. Some people believe that's what the angels and demons are. Aliens. True. Yeah. Because there's a lot of talk in the Bible and in historical texts about demons, which seem to be supernatural. Maybe those were aliens too.
But in the Old Testament, and that's what I'm saying, right? So the Old Testament with like the Book of Enoch, and that's something I actually started going back and trying to read myself now.
I was going to bring that up, the Book of Enoch, because that actually should have been in the Bible.
Right, and in the Book of Enoch, they depict a lot more about some stuff that would really start to bend people's minds around actual like real life phenomena, shit that could happen. Whereas the New Testament's a little more tailored to like the moral stories and, you know, do unto your neighbors, done unto you. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that.
Yeah. And actually, the New Testament, the whole story of Jesus is actually recycled from past religions, and it's pretty much they were looking at old religions and finding the holes in them, the things that people were able to get around or whatever, and they're like, we got to make this more solid. So they just recycled the old religion and made it into the new religion and tried to fix all the loopholes. But then in the first century, the problem with the Bible was that people were reading it and they're like, earth is hell, heaven is awesome, and if you're saved by Jesus and you die, you go to heaven. So what happened is a lot of people started committing suicide. So then they wrote into the Bible, long after it had already been published, or whatever, not published, but long after it had been created, they added into the Bible the unforgivable sin, which is suicide, because that was a loophole that they forgot to write out of their religion.
And sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say that Bruin88 is offended by your anti-Christian, and he's just kidding. He's kidding.
I mean, listen, like I said, I grew up, you know, going to Catholic church and had to do all the stuff and go through the hoops. But again, I believe in like the moral good of, you know, but to me, that really has nothing to do with being a Christian. It's just where I learned the morals, maybe. But right. I just feel like we should do that as human beings. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to be cool with me, like, I'll be cool with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody gets a clean slate, you know?
Treat others the way you want to be treated.
Yeah. And a while back, I started reading the Bible, and there's a girl, Melanie Mack. She does a lot of, like, funny boomer takes. And she started doing, like, a Bible reading, and I was, like, reading along and trying to follow. I'll get your take on this, maybe chat, too. My girl told me it was okay. Most people told me it's okay. But I felt weird doing it because I was high as shit. Now, part of me kind of believes like, well, if it puts me more in tune with the earth and the world that we live in, what's wrong with that?
No,
right?
weed is natural.
I know, and that's what I'm kind of saying. It's not like I'm getting coked up doing fucking like doing lines off the Bible. Like that would be kind of fucked up. But I don't know. Something felt like, was it blasphemous?
Well, you know, people used to
like,
use that first paper in the Bible, the blank sheet. People
I think I have done that before.
That one I couldn't do. That's a bit sacrilegious.
But but we were also stupid teenagers, I'm sure.
Right.
I'm sure at the pearly gates they're gonna overlook that time period of my life. But you know, but I don't know. It just felt weird to me, so I stopped doing it. But most people told me like, nah, I wouldn't see any problem with that. So
I'll probably help you be more receptive to it if that's what you want to be. Ronnie Lido says, always keep in mind though, a place for examples of an artist's freedom of expression.
Nah, but see, that's where we have to really look into how they told their history back then. It's not like today where we had all this expendable paper and all this expendable time and people were doing shit computer automated, right?
Right.
The stone of which to carve in was very limited, right?
Right.
And these people were not, and they used to write this shit in the tombs and all that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
They would even say like they only would carve and do the stuff that they would see because they wanted people to remember their legacy, right?
Right.
So they weren't really out there doing like fantasy stories and doing like Dungeons and Dragons type shit back then. At least that's not from what we were told, you know?
As that's like the Sumerians, which is like the first written language. The first thing they wrote about was the Anunnaki. And if you're going to write for the first time ever, you're not going to make up some stuff.
Bro, the Anunnaki, some shit.
Bro, trust me, I know a lot about it, and it is pretty convincing.
But again, like modern, like the archaeology and the history that they try to teach people, that ain't what they're teaching them, bro.
Oh, no, definitely not.
That ain't what they're teaching them. And even watching, like, Ancient Aliens, I don't know when it came out, but they're on 20 seasons.
Yep.
And even, like season 2, 3, I think I saw it. They were doing like Gobekli Tepe or whatever.
Yep.
And dude, even the stuff they were talking about on there was so fucking wrong compared to what they know now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the amount of stuff that they're uncovering, especially now with the new technologies and the LiDAR, and I know that there's been some backlash against that SAR radar, and now it's proprietary technology and stuff like that. So not many people even have their hands on it, but they're saying, and they still stand by it adamantly, that their technology works and there's shit down there. So, but there's tons of people that are just like, no, that can't be the case. What about the water table? What about this? But again, we don't know how their proprietary technology works. And they've showed use cases on other grounds and other sites that are way deeper than the level that they say this technology should work, you know?
Yeah.
So they've already proven it. And the other LiDAR and stuff has proven it works too. But there are people discounting, like, there's no way there's fucking 8 columns down there and blah, 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 blah. But there was actually a whole thing on Piers Morgan. A whole cool debate on that. It was like an hour long.
Ooh,
I highly suggest you watch it. It's got your guy on there, Bright Insights, Jimmy Crissetti.
Oh, nice. Yeah, well, I know where he's going to lean on this, but yeah, I want to check that out. Bright Insights is
actually, he don't lean the way you think he does.
Oh, really?
Nope. Huh. And neither does, what's his face? Dan the Dunker, the D-Dunker guy.
Yeah, I don't know him.
He's a cool guy, actually. I like him. His name's Dan.
Woody says, later, guys. Thanks for the stream. Thanks for hanging out with us, Woody. Appreciate you, bro.
Woody.
Ronnie Lido says, my gripe with a lot of these paintings is that they paint with such accuracy of scale and lighting and shadows, but then they get super abstract with the alien stuff. I don't think any of their stuff
the alien stuff just super abstract?
That's I don't think much of it is to scale. I mean, that last photo you showed with the light shining through the window, everything looked to scale there. But I hear what you're saying. Maybe if the UFO was like way, way up in the sky, it's going to be tiny, so they can't really draw that to scale, or you wouldn't be able to see what they're drawing. So you're more of an artist than me, so maybe you understand. I believe they painted exactly what they saw the best they could. The artwork alone of the Mayans is breathtaking, to say the least. Yes, it is. Yeah, and if they painted exactly what they saw, what else was in the sky at those times? Ronnie Leto says, and we know we had a great flood like 12,000 years ago. Yeah, and that's a long time. A lot of history can be lost in 12,000 years. And you had to be a super genius with math and science to be accepted too. I love Randall Carlson's breakdown of the history of the Freemasons. I like Carlson.
Carlson's great too.
Yeah, there's even stuff that isn't deciphered yet that is part of the Bible. I believe that. Biggest bro says I used to teach Sunday school lifted, Jesus approved. I used to go to church camp every year. I used to go to church every week. I've learned it all, and I'm just not convinced. I made both points, Mo, just like to keep stuff in the middle until we know for certain on some of these things. Yeah, I can see that point of view for sure. Stuff just keeps getting older, says Graham Hancock. That's what I mean. They are painting exactly what they saw. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, it's crazy how stuff keeps getting older because they said that before the Sumerians, there's no way that anybody ever settled or anybody ever was making sculptures or anything. And then they discovered Göbekli Tepe, and they're discovering all these other places by Göbekli Tepe in Turkey that are even older than Göbekli Tepe that completely blows the whole narrative of the history of humans. Every time they find something new, it just completely changes everything. So obviously, they don't know what they're talking about. Ronnie,
but that's the problem, and that nobody wants to allow the answers.
right.
Because the second that we allow the answers or questioning of the truth, all that money that went into all the archaeology projects and all the research, gone. So do you think these companies that have they're basically gatekeeping archaeology, right?
Right.
And that's what Grant Hancock always gets pissed about. Like, they're trying to gatekeep the timeline based on their, it's kind of like, big barns in PFL just trying to make changes in the game to protect their barns. You know what I'm saying? Like, it makes sense. I get why you're trying to do it. But if you have nothing to hide and you stand by your research, you should let people poke around,
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It just seems crazy to me. Like, they'll do all sorts of shit on the Gaza plateau and everything.
Yeah.
The Giza plateau, but they won't drill a tiny little robo fraction of a dot to put a fucking camera down there. That's all they have to do. Like, they discovered a new chamber 2 years ago.
Yep.
From a different scan, and whatever his name, Kwafi or Kami, whatever his name is, Kawali, that guy refuses to let them do anything because, as soon as they find out new information, well, then all his fucking grants and all his stuff is fucking gone out the window, right? But here's the crazy part. And China and all these fucking countries that try to protect their fucking history for whatever they're hiding, they're going to get real fucked real soon if this SAR radar actually works. Because guess what? These scans already exist, Walt. Every fucking square inch of this planet has been scanned already.
Oh, really?
So the second that this not by these guys, but there's scans that exist from other companies, right? So now, once the technology is there, all I have to do is buy the scans and then import them, right? And now you're running all your shit. So by doing this, China and all these fucking secretive and North Korea, and they don't want people spying on them, they're gonna have no choice now. Because they're not going to be able to stop these satellites that are out in space. You know what I'm saying? You can stop a LiDAR machine. You can stop ground-penetrating radar and all that shit, right?
Right.
But you can't stop the SAR.
Nope.
And that's the scariest part about it, why they might not want this thing to come to light. Because the truth will have no choice but to start coming out because they can't fucking gatekeep it and they can't really bury it anymore because they're not going to have control of it. You know?
Yeah. So you think that China's hiding something under the land?
100%, dude. 100%. Here's the thing. I don't even know if it's is China hiding something on their own? Is Egypt hiding something on their own? Is the United States hiding something on their own with Roswell, right?
Right.
But are they working separately? Are they all working with some sort of central agent? What is it? We ever talk about Lacerda?
No.
Lacerda was some being from the past, whatever, that was come to the future and tell people of impending doom and all, the voice of the future or the past or whatever. I actually named one of my horses Lacerda. But is there some, it could be intergalactic, who the fuck knows, we don't know, but is there some sort of being or some sort of group that ties it all together? That's what I would want to know.
It could be something like Moloch, because that's what these people at the Bilderberg group worship, and I still don't understand that. Where do they come up with this idea of Moloch? Maybe Moloch is this alien or something, and they don't want us to know about it because I don't know exactly why, but they're worshiping something that nobody else seems to know about, a giant owl called Moloch. Maybe that's an alien that they discovered.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't even know. I was thinking about this the other day. I didn't really look too much into it. The bird I forget the actual name of it, but the Egypt one you always see, the bird head on like a human.
Oh yeah, like is it Horus?
Is that the Eye of Horus?
I think so.
Could you find it maybe a little weird that if you look at the American eagle, that it happens to be like our national bird?
That is interesting, and we do have a pyramid with the all-seeing eye on our money, which is wild.
And that's what I'm saying. So it might not be so much of like world history and like ancient civilizations of other parts of the world. Might also be here a little bit too. You know.
Let me catch up with the chat. Ronnie Leto went to Catholic school from kindergarten through 8. Did they used to smack your hands with a ruler? I heard they did that at Catholic school.
I did that shit to my dad.
You did that to what?
My dad used to tell me stories all the time.
Oh yeah, of getting smacked on the hand with ruler. That sounds painful. Yep. Hurt your bleeding, have your knuckles bleeding and stuff.
Yeah, but kids only did it once because they didn't want it to happen again.
Ronnie Lito's getting to make his own hours, so they'll stop filling the chat. No, we need your chat in here. It's all about the money. They barely can find the donors. Yeah, he's talking about like Egyptologists and stuff, just like the debate on string theory. Much money and funding going into it, but they've come up with nothing yet. But they don't want to lose their jobs. That's a good point. They want to keep studying it, even if there's nothing there, because they want to have that job and they want to have funding. But I mean, I think string theory is a pretty strong theory. It makes sense to me.
Without questioning science and stuff, like the Big Bang Show, right?
Yeah.
Weren't their jobs like theoretical physicists?
A couple of them.
Yeah, say like their whole job and like a lot of these industries are made up on like people that are coming in with crazy ideas to fucking test the norm.
Yeah.
But
that's a good thing.
That's how we might get. Well, I think it's a great thing.
Yeah.
But if you have too much, and again, it's the same thing as money in politics, where if you put the wrong people in power that gatekeep, it's very easy for them to keep that power. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Daniel C says, I just lost my internet. Can't get service until Friday at the earliest.
The fuck?
I know we're about to have this huge storm starting on Wednesday night. We're supposed to get like 15 inches of rain. I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be rough. I might lose internet too. What's up, C-Spill? Good to see you in the chat. Mesh signals? Just mesh signals? What are mesh signals? I know I can get mesh signals through my router, but I don't even really understand what it means.
Mesh network, yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah. Ronnie Leto says, you got to hear Eric Weinstein's take on string theory. I'm not a big fan of the Weinstein brothers. They don't seem very smart to me, but I'd listen to it. I think string theory is really interesting, but yeah, the Weinsteins, not very smart guys in my opinion. Has one of the...
Well, Eric, I think, is the one that's very, very condescending, if I'm not mistaken.
Which one was on the Joe Rogan podcast with Terrence Howard?
I think that was Eric Weinstein.
Yeah.
I think, I've seen him in other interviews, like was it Neil deGrasse Tyson? I think I've seen. It was just like, I don't know, man. I don't like people that just get into that tone, of like, you're a fucking retard because you don't know what I know type shit.
Yes. And speaking of overconfident people, did you see that interview that Kanye West just did?
Oh God, and the black fucking...
Yes.
Oh, dude. What is wrong with him, bro? And listen, if anybody thinks, Captain America 1's coming, I mean, just look at the backlash, when he got for wearing that shirt. Just saying. You don't think VeVe wants that, do you? Just throw it out there.
Pull it up for people who haven't seen it. Not a lot of people have seen this yet. I watched the whole interview. This dude is freaking... He is a crazy person. He is out of his mind.
Yeah.
Here,
I saw a funny meme post of like... It was kind of like the Avengers cast. It was like Kanye's Avengers in like 2016, and then Kanye's team now. I can see if I can find it and pull it up. Bro, there's some whack jobs on there now, dude.
During the interview, at one point, he asked him something. The interviewer asked him. The interviewer is like, trying to be super, super nice because he's scared or whatever that he's gonna walk out. But he's trying to be super nice, and he asks him something that he don't have an answer for. And Kanye's like, I'm evil. That's it. I'm just evil. And then like 5 minutes later, he says, I'm the closest thing to God on the planet. Both within 5 minutes of each other. This dude has lost his mind. Bernadette says, I had that happen once by my favorite teacher, Miss Mosley. She used the rule on everyone in class. Oh, the ruler. Ooh. Because of some boneheads. I just looked at her like, why? She smacked everybody in the class because of a couple people messing up, bro. You would get sued for that in America these days. Big ice storms just went through. My town's actually in a state of emergency at the moment. Trees down everywhere, just a mess. Be careful out there, Denny OC. Man, yeah, I think it's about to, that storm might be headed this way. I don't know, you're up north, so maybe it's a different storm. That sounds rough. No way, I never felt that way about him at all. Quit fighting each other. I had two cats that are not getting along with each other. But I do see.
I'm just waiting for that damn warm weather to come in, bro. It's fucking April. It's still cold as shit here. I hate it.
Man, we wake up this morning, it's super, super cold. But by the time I go to pick up my kid from school, it's super, super hot. So we're at that point of the season where you're winter in the morning and summer in the afternoon.
That's how it was when I came to visit you, actually, because it was like, what, early May?
Yep.
And I was sleeping. I slept in my car at like the rest stop or whatever. And I was like, damn, it gets cold here. But then, yeah, like fucking midday, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's weird like that around this season. You get all 4 seasons in one day. Yeah, Brunady agrees that Kanye has lost it. I don't never thought he had any talent at all. He has good beats. Does he even make the beats? His lyrics are straight trash, bro. I mean, I'm not a rap connoisseur, but I mean, I listen to a lot of rap, and I think he has the worst lyrics out of everybody.
I think the only Kanye song I don't know, was... Fuck, now I think about it, he might not have been on the song. Was he on that Katy Perry song, E.T.?
I don't know that. I don't know Katy Perry stuff.
I
do like his song Lamborghini Mercy.
He was on that.
And his first song Through the Wire was good too, but I don't think I think he was in jail at the time, so it's not like he produced it or anything. Maybe he did. DLC says, appreciate y'all, my family is all good. I have power and food, data on the phone, so I can still watch the best show on Tuesdays. Let's go. Appreciate you watching.
We appreciate that.
Yes, absolutely.
We hope y'all safe, man. Stay safe.
100%. All right, Mo, we got the TVs as our frames today. What are you watching? Anything special? I know you're watching Survivor, right?
Yeah, so I finally finished last season. Started watching this season. I'm not the biggest fan of the cast, but I'm watching anyway. Yeah, other than that, binging Ancient Aliens. Because I feel like I've watched so many episodes of that, but I've definitely never seen them all. So now I see some new little tidbits. I'm like, oh, let me go down this rabbit hole, or let me research this, and I'm like, oh, now I got like 12 more hours of shit to do.
Some of their stuff started getting crazy after like season 5 or season 6. I kind of stopped watching it because they were, I don't know, some of their theories were like, that don't even make sense, bro.
Well, and I was wondering that, and I kind of figured the first 2 or 3 seasons would be more the stuff that I'm kind of more into anyway.
Yeah.
Right. Which is more like the Egyptians, the Mayans, the biblical stuff, right? Like, but yeah, we'll see where they go with it. But, and other than that, that dude's still taking his little sailboat from New York to Miami. However, he still has not left Jersey. He flew in a real captain that knows how to sail to give him some lessons.
Oh, nice.
He went out on the ocean by himself for the first time, got scared shitless, and turned around. And we haven't seen him on stream for 2 days.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, we're hoping he's not dead. But
jeez, you need to link me to this YouTube channel so I can follow along.
Yeah, it's on Kick. It's okay. I'll send you on DMs. If anybody in chat wants to watch it, it's Shoovy, Shoovy. The kid is an absolute 19-year-old delinquent, but he's actually pretty fucking funny. He knows how to farm chat for KCIP and make his money. I give him credit, but he's not bright. He's not polite. He's what you would expect from a 19-year-old fucking streamer. So, this content that he's doing with the boat is good. So.
Yeah, it sounds like an interesting story, like a journey that you get to follow along with.
Yep, and honestly, dude, like I was thinking about trying to get my own channel popping off with it, and I was like, well, because I got my surgery on Thursday, and if he doesn't leave Jersey by like next week, I'm gonna hop in my car, and I'm gonna put together like a land stream, and I'll have like a map and everything, and I'll basically shadow him down the coast because I don't want to go on the fucking boat with his ass and get killed. But I'll like shadow him down the coast, and if he needs like something delivered, I can go buy it and. He can pay me back, and I can go meet him at like the dock. He's been doing that with people, but he doesn't always have somebody. So I could maybe try to pop off my kick stream a little bit. Yeah. I'm training by helping him out.
Definitely.
Because he was looking for like a boat hand, and I mentioned it like a few weeks ago, but then I got my surgery set up, and I was like, I can't go because I'd have to fly back, and I don't fly.
Right.
So, but I don't know. I might think about doing that. So I might do. Tales from the Crypto, maybe on the road.
That would be cool.
But if we don't do that from the road, we are going to do an on-location show I'm going to be live from Wardenclyffe here on Long Island, which is Tesla's old compound.
Oh.
And I'm going to get like one of those frequency readers where I can pick up some frequencies coming off the Earth. They got some really cheap ones. I want to see if I can pick up that F sharp that Tesla always talked about resonating there.
Right.
Because I told you, bro, I've always heard that note, and I'm a musician. I know what the fucking note is. I've always heard this tone in my fucking ear. And when I tried to explain it to like doctors, they're like, well, it's not really a tinnitus sound. And I'm like, well, then what the fuck is it? It's like a resonating fucking sound. Bro, imagine I was like some sort of like amplified fucking earth resonant fucking magnifier, dude.
You're
there are
connected
people
to
that
the earth somehow.
Yeah, but there are people that like that out there. And I always swore, dude, I was like, man, I don't know. It was always a weird sound, vibration, tone. So
Yeah,
I want to see
if
if
you can go find it from Tesla's old place, see if you can pick it up. That would be interesting to see.
Yeah. So if anything, we'll at least do a show while I'm out there. I can show you guys the compound. I don't know if we can go in, but I could at least like, show the
probably
whole
sneak in.
compound from the outside.
Right.
Yeah. So it'll be kind of fun. But yeah, other than that, man, we got some cool shit coming up. So
Nice.
stay tuned on that.
DLC says new Street Outlaws on Discovery starts tonight. Street Outlaws, I've seen that before. It could be the last chance to save this franchise. Hopefully a lot of people watch so they maybe release the last couple of seasons. Did they already film them or something? Street Outlaws is a pretty cool show. I get big into, I think it's called Inked, the show where they're doing the tattoos. And it's
Tattoo
like
place, yep.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good one that I get into once in a while. Right now, though, I'm just been watching a lot of eBay reselling content creators, trying to step up my game. I've been doing a lot of eBay reselling back into that. I've done it for like 14 years, but last 3 or 4 years, I pretty much haven't done it at all. Starting to step up my game again, getting a lot of sales, and I even started up a new YouTube channel, put out my first eBay reselling video about 2 days ago. Currently has 0 views, which is normal. It's going to be a while before I get some views. After I get maybe 10 or 20 videos on the channel, maybe people will start watching me. I don't know. C-Spell says, any predictions for the tariffs tomorrow?
Post it so we could
What's that?
post it so we can go follow the channel and like it.
Nah, I'll just let it grow organically.
All right.
It's not that good anyway. Any
He doesn't want to
predictions
manipulate it, chat. Doesn't want to.
C-Spell,
We're gonna find it.
I think with the tariffs, I mean, he's just going to tease them like it's going to happen, and then he's going to change his mind, and then he's going to implement them, and then everybody's going to cry, and the market's going to crash, and then he's going to take them back off. It's the uncertainty that Trump has brought to the market that is why it will never pump until he's out of office. I mean, maybe he'll do something to make it pump, but at this point, nobody's going to be buying into stocks whenever there's so much uncertainty. Nobody knows what he's doing with the tariffs. It doesn't even make sense. Still watching
Well, I
White
100%
Lotus.
agree. Definitely gotta let that shake out. But like I said, other countries have already kind of, I don't want to say turned 180, but they're like, all right, listen, you want to go reciprocating? We'll go reciprocating. Like, they're doing it, so it is working. Long term, we'll see what it does. But you watch White Lotus, you said, or no?
I've never watched White Lotus.
Everyone keeps telling me to watch this damn show, dude.
All right, here,
I might have to sit down and watch it. I don't know.
Bruin88 says to post a video. All right, I'll post a video. All it is like an update of the stuff that I sold in the last week or so. There's a couple cool sales on there, a couple good sales, a couple bad sales. You see a couple of them that are like, I paid $5 and I sold it for like $8. It happens, man. I post my L's and my W's. That's still a small W, but there's some big W's in there too. There's the video if you guys want to check it out. The new YouTube channel.
Got it.
I'm gonna be working on it going forward.
Let the video run for a little bit, chat. You know what I'm saying? Get the view time up too. Let it run in the background.
Make sure you watch those commercials. I'm just kidding. It's not monetized.
Well, would be kind of cool if we could put together. Do you fly or no?
I flew to California for decon and back, and I've flown to Tampa and back once. But I mean, right now planes are going down left and right. I don't know if I would want to fly.
True. Well, I was gonna say it might be a fucking cool stream. Is in the summertime we have so many estate sales and different types of sales here on Long Island.
Bro, I would love to go to estate sales in New York. You know how much treasures and freaking
That's what I'm saying. Well, especially Long Island, because Long Island, this area, especially right near my house, was one of the first spots that the Mayflower hit.
Oh my goodness.
So I can tell you, brother, like the amount of historical documents and weapons and all sorts of cool stuff. That's what I mean. But I'd probably want to do it where I could say, listen, there's like a 2-week period. You know what I mean? Where or a week period where like there's one every day, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Would have to be worth it for you to come out, but I do. It'd be fucking dope. 'Cause I love doing that shit, man.
Yeah, I bet you can
Like,
find
I
some
love-
awesome stuff in New York for sure. That'd be pretty dope. Yeah, I like that
Oh, dude,
idea
me
a
and my
lot.
uncle used to find all sorts of cool fucking shit, bro, from like fucking World Wars and colonial times and
Even
oh,
just
yeah, dude.
newspapers from New York from back then would be
Yep.
worth some money. Ronnie Lido says the written psychology and the dialogue of White Lotus and characters is perfectly made. I haven't watched a scripted show. Well, I watched the Cobra Kai show, so I can't say that, but I don't watch a lot of scripted shows. News Now Marijuana says it's definitely going to check out. Oh, I'm definitely going to check out your new channel. Like I said, I just threw a video together to get started. I'm planning on in the future, I would like to set it up to where I'm actually wearing a camera when I go to yard sales and estate sales. But I'm kind of nervous about it, man. If this is Indiana, like I don't know if people are cool with that the way they are that all the other content creators do. So I don't know if I can get enough courage to do that. And the way it's filmed is beautiful.
would be cool.
News Now says I sell sports cards on eBay. What kind of sports cards? I'm a big baseball card collector. I sold off all the good stuff in my collection during the bull run, and I sold it at the top prices, so I'm not sad about it at all. I put like $2,000 in, and I sold all my good stuff for $12,000, so it was a pretty good profit. Denny says my buddy is making a killing selling vintage clothes. That's one thing I buy and sell all the time, vintage clothes. I try to find those old T-shirts. You can get some good money for some old T-shirts. Nice to see what other people are selling. Yeah, that's why I made the channel. I want to show people what I'm selling because I don't sell the same stuff that other people sell, and I make good money off of stuff that a lot of people skip. I'm big on board games. That's one of my favorite things to flip. But of course, clothes is my bread and butter. Digital Marvel trading cards on eBay. I sold some VeVe NFTs on eBay back in the day when we didn't have a market. All right, y'all, it's about time to end the live stream for this week, but we do this live stream every Tuesday. Tales from the Crypto with me and MoKnowz. So we'll be back next Tuesday at 5 p.m. if my computer
real quick,
cooperates.
hold on.
Go ahead.
Real quick, it's a breaking news.
Uh-oh.
Hold on, I don't want to dox.
Is this going to be bad? Should I put you on Mo and Tell?
Yeah, I want to get your opinion on this real quick.
Brother. Is it something Trump did? Or a
No.
Oh, okay.
It's just something I'm thinking about adding to my collection. I need a new hat.
A new hat?
Thoughts?
What kind of hat is it?
An alien hat.
Oh, it's just an alien hat? Yeah, I mean, it looks dope. I like the colors.
Oh, this is my black and blue combo, yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
The Starman collection.
I
I
like
think it
it.
would be good.
For me, I have to have fitted hats. I mean, I have some hats that aren't fitted, but I mean, I like to wear my hat backwards, especially when I'm live streaming, so I got to have a fitted hat or just don't fit right.
I think this is like one of those, not the fitted, this is one of those...
Snapback?
Not even snapback is the other one.
Strapback?
Yeah, the strapback.
Gotcha.
That's what my Mets hat is anyway. I don't really mind it. But I'm with you. Normally I like a fitted.
Yes.
But I just saw the colors and I saw the alien on there. I'm like, you know what? I might have to fucking buy this hat.
I like it. It looks good. News Now says I sell modern sports cards, basketball, football, and now baseball season. See, I'm holding my modern stuff right now, and it's worked out for me. I sold all my Otani card or Otani rookies. I probably should have held them longer, but if I would have sold them back then when I got them, they would have been worth nothing. But after he blew up, I got some pretty good money for him. Good to see you, Droid Darrow, in the chat. We're just wrapping up. Old Carhartt jackets are big, and Carhartt jeans. I sell Carhartt jeans a lot too. Thanks for hanging out with us, Bruin88. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you, Denny OC. As always, good to have you in the chat with us on Tuesdays. Sometimes Pokemon too. There's a lot of content creators who do that on YouTube already. I want to flip Pokemon cards, but I don't understand how to tell which ones are the valuable ones, unfortunately. All right, everybody. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Like I said, we'll be back next Tuesday. I might stream the drops on the weekends. I don't know. Last weekend, it just seemed like it's such a horrible drop. It wasn't even worth going live for. But if we have a good drop, then I'll go live for it. All right, Mo, what are you doing coming up this week? Are you got anything planned?
Surgery on Thursday, so hopefully I'm good for Tuesday. And I don't want to say for sure yet, but we might be having a funeral for the old Bones avatar.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, I used to use my normal camera. I stopped doing it because I hated the green screen with the lights. You know what I'm saying? I hated the fucking bright light on my face.
Well, that'll be interesting.
Thinking about, because well, now I can just use the background. I'm in a much nicer house, so I don't really have to worry about like the fucking room I'm in being a shithole.
Right.
But the old house, I was never gonna fix up enough to even be nice in the background, you know.
Yeah.
So over here, I'm like, well, maybe I'll just go to the regular camera. I don't have to have like a blinding light in my face either. So
nice. Yeah, I like that idea. Yeah, Denny OC says good luck on the surgery.
Thank you.
I agree with that message. Hopefully everything goes well for you. We'll find out next Tuesday how things went. So come by and hang out with us next Tuesday so you can see if Mo survived or not. And apparently,
Yep.
it might even actually see Mo and not the skeleton avatar next week. Who knows?
Yeah, and a lot of people might be surprised to learn that I don't actually talk like this. So, somebody a few months ago was like, "Oh, you talk about the guy that calls racist that has a lisp?" And I was like, "Man, I only have a lisp because I'm getting my dental work done." I'm like, "All right," I'm like, "That's whatever."
So he's gonna sound different and look different. That's gonna be a change.
I mean, I should be sounding way different because I haven't had teeth to fucking push my tongue against for like what, a year and a half now since I started having the work done big time. So the bigly work.
All right, everybody in the chat, thank you guys for participating and hanging out with us, and we will see y'all next week. Later, everybody. Later, Mo.